hates black people.
This is very true. I can confirm my hatred.
He keeps pretending to be a black guy, and it's just like, it's really offensive. Like, eventually they're going to get a picture of him, and they're just going to be like, who is this nerdy white ginger, and why does he keep saying the N-word?
Really? These people know what I look like. My face is my Twitter handle. Oh, I don't plug my Twitter handle anymore.
No.
Remember that one time that dude tweeted me about something you said in a video?
I remember that it happened twice in the entire time. Because it was in one of the lowest watched video series I ever did.
Wow. It was something about Sly Cooper. That's what threw me off.
Yeah.
I'm really peaked.
No one really likes Sly Cooper. As long as you're not going over the peaks, that's fine.
Yeah. Nobody really likes Sly Cooper except that the same 5 people who nagged me to play it until it was done. So I played it until it was dead. Yeah, I'm really low when I talk.
Yeah, you don't have a projection.
I can't project.
You need to lean.
We talked about this.
You need to
my throat doesn't allow me to project, or I'll start coughing.
No, you just need to project from here, from the gut.
Or
don't
just move the microphone.
You could.
Hooray!
All right, so
mystery solved. We just lost all of that audio. Way to go. Now people will never know that Carlos is a pasty white ginger.
Yeah, this is true.
So, we just going to start?
No, we're not going to start.
Oh, we on the X?
Oh, snap, son!
Are you going to do a new...
No.
Okay.
I mean, we can totally do an intro. We can talk about how welcome to the Wrath of Zalus channel, game of all the years except for only this year, podcast discussion. Even though this really isn't a podcast, it's just putting it up on a video. Is that good? Or should we roll it back a little bit?
Should we put it on SoundCloud?
No, that's fine. My name is Nick. To my left, which you can't see, is Spencer. To my right is Carlos.
In front of our live studio audience!
No studio audience.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to talk about what our Game of the Year stuff was. This was Spencer's idea, which I kind of rolled with. We dragged Carlos along because 3 people is better than 2. For no other reasons. We don't value his opinion at all.
And the hot takes.
Came here for the hot takes. I like how you just rolled into my, this was Spencer's idea, by the way. So if this is terrible, it's just Spencer's fault.
Well, no, it's because this isn't the kind of thing I usually do, but, I'm on board.
We did, 2 podcasts before.
If it fails, then, I'll go down with the shit. I'll take, 20% of the blame. It's fine.
Yeah, whatever. You only lose, 8 subscribers. Whatever.
So, really quick, let's just make this nice and clear. None of us, not Carlos, not Spencer, not me, have played Witcher 3. So this is the Witcher 3 is not available for any of these awards because we have not played it, so we don't know how good it is.
Let's actually wait. So because you got that out of the way. Yeah. That's right. Let's roll it back a little bit. So we're here to talk about 2015.
Yes.
Year in review. And this isn't like
what a
typical,
year was.
It was terrible. But let's not get into it. Everything was horrible. Nothing good came out. This is going to just be an hour of just white noise. So that being said, I just lost my train of thought. Good thing Audacity is allowed to pull up what's it called? The blanks and the stuff that I'm just rambling on to get my point back. Game of 2015.
You're definitely keeping that in.
Yeah, don't worry about it. 2015. So we are here to talk about the year in review. This is not your typical, we're going to sit here and deliberate for 20 hours talking about what game is better than what game. We're pretty much just going to say, this is the category. This is kind of the discussion about it. And then we'll each go down the row and say, this is what we think the best game of that category is, including, at the end, what was our game of the year. You can agree. You can disagree. This is YouTube. You put all the flagrant comments right there in the bottom.
Well, no, hang on. So if you're going to comment, which I think you should, I encourage you, if you hear a category you like, to just make a comment. There's no rules in this comment section. I don't care how many comments each individual person makes, which is a sentence I know I will regret later. So you don't have to wait till the end to comment. Just if you hear the discussion, you hear us go over an award, and you hear us moving on, and you want to make a comment, make the comment. What I will say is if you're going to comment, in addition, if we say what the category is and you want to put your input, say the name of the game and why. Don't just say, I would have picked this for this game. That doesn't add anything. Come on. Just I would have picked this. I want to know more. We want you to
not standard YouTube comments.
Yeah. No.
This is dumb. Splatoon sucks.
No low effort comments. Let's get in depth here. Let's have a nice discussion.
Paragraphs only. If it's not a full paragraph.
5-paragraph essay on why Metal Gear Solid was the most subpar game of this year.
You must have 2 hyperlinks.
MPA style.
So
Chicago sucks.
So we have, how many did we come up with?
10.
We have 11 categories.
11 categories.
Because we like to keep it even.
We're going to go from the worst. No, we're going to go from. We're going to lead up to GOATY. So,
But game of all this year.
people who know what GOATY means.
I don't think they do.
I think people know what GOATY is.
The
because-
Jordan Award.
Because they know...
The
like,
Jordan Award.
The official Jordan.
because there's things like Skyrim, the GOATY edition. So I think that's how people know what GOATY means.
Fair enough. So, by the way, who's DJing these categories? We just totally forgot to say.
Say you because you were like.
I mean,
there.
it's my channel. So
That's what I was going
we
to go
can
with.
we can switch off if we feel like the conversation
I
is
can't see shit.
basically if Carlos is rambling on for way too long, we can just cut him off and
Great.
So the next category is
You can.
all
right, first
No,
category.
hey, you know this is your channel.
Yeah, that's
Hey,
fine.
you're the one who's throwing it out there, Mr. DJ. Go ahead, please.
Come on, Mr. D.
We're all wearing suits and ties if you didn't know.
Yes,
so that way.
we all actually went to Mr. Tux, got tuxedos.
Just for this
I made a
occasion.
subpar dinner just beforehand. We had to
very-
eat in our tux.
It's very hot.
It's-
Okay, so the first category is watched it, liked it, loved it. So that was named by Spencer. Basically, what the category means is this is something that you either watched someone, like you thought it was good to watch someone else play. For me and Spencer, that means like watching Let's Plays on Twitch. For Carlos, it means watching his girlfriend play because he's a loser. So
We're just starting this fresh right now.
hey,
Let's
come
go.
on, come out into the light. There's too much shade over there.
You're the worst. All right, so
Let's lead off with Carlos.
probably the game that I enjoyed the most watching Until Dawn, not the controversial choice. But my second choice would probably be Grow Home because that game just looks so hard to control and do anything.
So all I know about Grow Home was that it was, I think, was it October? There was a PlayStation Plus allowed you to vote on which game was free. And Spencer and I were like, Armello, obviously.
Yes.
And it did not win. Grow Home won. And we got, so like, I was just like, I'm just not going to play this. And then I saw like reviews and stuff later on, and they were like, it's a clunky game. It's just weird. It's like the picture with like the red robot on it, right?
Yeah, it looks like it's like playing Octodad, but not.
But not intentionally.
Yeah.
I don't think they've ever done that vote thing ever again.
No, I almost wonder if it didn't go well, if they're going to try and do it like a twice a year thing. They said it wasn't going to be every month, but I thought they would have done it again by now.
I thought Grow Home was going to be a Gone Home parody.
So
I was really heartbroken.
Oh my god. Just a robot just walking around a house trying to find its master and its purpose.
I would have enjoyed that. That would have been a really cool game.
So from my perspective, like for Grow Home actually I thought was actually a great game. I don't think it was a great game to watch because you're just watching this robot kind of climb up this giant everlasting beanstalk into the sky.
Yeah, but he has super low standards.
Fair enough. But it was pretty cool to see montages and videos of things of people like getting all the way to the top and then just jumping off. And then just watching them skydive and watching what they've grown because it's dynamic. The beanstalk that
I did
grows in the
not know
middle of
that.
it. But to bring it around full circle, you said Until Dawn. Until Dawn is actually one of those games that I've watched more than I've actually played. And
Yeah, I have it.
Ugh.
I have it sitting. I played.
We played that first hour together.
No, I played a little bit further than that too. I played a little bit until like the first like I wouldn't even know how to describe it. The first like chain of events gets set in motion, and I haven't gone back to it because like it's one of those things where it's like in my head it's like, oh, I need to have like a block of time to play this, and I just never have time anymore. So I have refused to watch anything on it because I want it to be like a surprise when I play it. So let's dance around these spoilers.
You should play it on Christmas.
So, spoilers.
Also, I'm waiting for it to snow because I feel like that would be the
okay,
best
you're gonna have to
way
wait
play
until forever.
I know.
Yeah, it's
We're
going to
never
be
getting
70
snow again.
degrees tomorrow. By the way, we're recording this on the 23rd of December. It's going to be 70 degrees here in the New England
it.
area
Yeah,
on
we
Christmas.
live in Massachusetts. It's bullshit to be this weather. I want my 20-degree freezing my ass off.
Okay.
I'm actually fine about it because that means if it ever snows and gets cold, the tea shuts down, and I kind of rely on that. But that's something completely different. Until Dawn, it's wonderful because actually I think the great thing about being able to watch it is that it plays like a tropey horror movie. And that's like, if you're coming to watch a tropey horror movie, like someone else play a tropey horror movie, like you're perfect. You can honestly sit down and it's that kind of like that typical, if we're taking on tropes, that like there are some games that are just super cinematic, like Uncharted. Like if you took away the controls and played it pretty well, like you could have someone sitting by you being like sitting with a bucket of popcorn, shoving their mouth, like let's go, let's play next.
I have a question. Where would they find a bucket of popcorn?
You
Like
don't
a
keep
bucket.
one at home?
Yeah, you don't
I
have.
mean,
like,
do you have
they-
bags of popcorn? Where would they get the bucket?
There's
from?
actually
I
those
keep a bucket at
supermarkets,
home.
and you can get them, and they're absolute garbage. The most garbage trash popcorn you can possibly think of that would pop in a bucket.
I don't like popcorn. I regret starting this conversation. So you're saying, basically to sum it up, for you, Until Dawn works as like a thing to watch because it's basically a B horror movie anyway.
Yes, that plays dynamically and differently almost every time you watch it from somebody else. It's
interesting.
It advertises that butterfly effect of like, oh, everything's changing, but really it's one of those things where it goes out, it comes back in, it goes out, it comes back in.
It's more, I found it more enjoyable watching someone play it. And I was able, like, there's like all those great parody movies with like how black people yell at the movie theater like, "Oh, bitch, don't go in through that door." Now you can actually do that, and people won't go through that door.
It's funny. It's so true because you watch the Twitch comments and there's things where it says, "Don't move the controller," and you see the Twitch. If he has a camera, he's sitting there staying still and trying to keep the controller still. And and all of a sudden the thing just goes out and the entire Twitch chat just blows up. Just be like, "Bitch, you killed Karen. Now Karen's not gonna. She was Best Girl. Why did you kill Best Girl?" I don't think Karen's actually an actual character now that I think about it. Either way.
So for my answer, I actually struggled to come up with this one because I watch a lot of Let's Plays. So for me, it was tough. I'm sure there were standouts that I'm just not remembering because a year is a long time. But for me,
ladies and gentlemen, please quote this: "A year is a long time." Nick Zalis, 2015.
Feel free. So, excuse me. One that comes, and this is a cop-out, but one that I recently remember, which is how some of this is just going to go. I've seen some footage of people playing Rainbow Six Siege, and that looks like a really, really fun game to watch. Like, I'm invested with the people playing. Like, I want to watch. I want them to beat it. I want them to beat the terrorists, or I want them to beat the other team, and it's fun. Like, it's been a while since I watched a good video like that. It comes close to watching like a sports match.
I just enjoy, like, when I do watch someone play it, it's so crazy to me, like, when they shoot a hole through the wall and then my bad, I'm
just back up.
I'm a leaner. I lean into shit.
You're already loud. You don't have to lean in.
Yeah, I know, but, like,
I'm the one who needs to lean in.
It's cool when, like, people shoot through a wall and then they're, like, scoping through the wall, and, like, I just think it would be very hard to play a game when the walls aren't safe anymore.
For me, I find it hard to watch shooters.
Yeah.
Just in general. Like, I've tried to watch competitive CSGO. That's, like, high talented, like, Twitch shooting, like, holy crap, I can't believe that guy saw that guy across the thing. What the heck? And at that level, even with, like, Siege is, like, better because you have to have a plan.
I was going to say, normally I have trouble watching shooters too, but Siege somehow breaks the mold for that for me.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of Siege. I just can't get into it.
It's not for you?
I can play it.
That's fair.
I played the beta and I liked it, but I just can't watch it. I can't, like, I've tried. And even people who are like competitive teams, like actually calling out actual call signs and bravos and things like that, legitimately, like, because it's Twitch, people will do anything to garnish views.
Hey guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment.
I'm right there.
It really helps. It really helps me out, man.
I gotta make sure I put that in there.
Really helps me out. Yeah, just really be great. Just like, subscribe, comment, check out my other videos.
I'm totally not writing this down. Just keep going. I'm not gonna write down timestamps.
But yeah, don't add anything. Just
I'm gonna add,
don't add anything. It's a joke. If you actually put,
I'm gonna put like, subscribe all the way.
If you actually do that, then it doesn't make it a joke, and it makes me sad.
Anyways,
what's the next award?
Well, no. So, first off, one of the things I also want to say. The one thing I do want to say though, also that I talked about, I want to talk about now. That I just remembered is oh my god, now I can't remember it. Who cares? Super Mario Maker. Super Mario Maker.
Yeah.
I forgot about that one. That was a pretty good one to watch too.
Super Mario Maker is a fun thing to watch. Not people build levels.
No.
I mean, that's okay. But people, when they do like the 100 Mario challenge on Expert, and you just see them struggle, and it's the same thing in the Twitch chat. Everyone's like, just dude, you just gotta jump over the thing. And you gotta, like, why are you putting your face in the spikes? And, like, you don't realize, and you go back and play it. You're like, oh, wow. Like, the physics in this, like, don't allow for this man to not put his face into the spikes. Holy crap. But it's just like when you see that stuff and all the levels of people, it's not the same thing over and over again, like a speed run. It's different every single time they jump in.
I remember I watched one person. They had 2 different videos, and it was like 6 hours each. And I just put them on in the background while I was doing something. There was one level. No, I was actively watching it for 12 straight hours.
I am zoned in.
Be the Mario. No, there was a level on Expert. So in Expert, I think, for those who don't know, You
So
get
many.
100 lives, and it's like a very hard, it's at hard difficulty levels. And I think it's 15 levels for the 100 Mario challenge.
Yes.
So there's 15, and out on one of them, he just got to a level that just said FNAF rules. And it was just all in blocks, and then like he just walked under the blocks, and there was the exit. And it's like, how did this get into expert? This is ridiculous. And this like referenced it for the rest of the thing, and I loved it. It's so great. I love stupid shit like that. But that is enough about that category. We spent about 15 minutes on.
Who cares? We'll roll through it. This is a big giant thing. We can cut it up in sections.
No,
Why
don't
not?
cut it. Make the whole thing super long.
You know what? Your face is super long.
So
We're
Spencer,
starting this out right now.
the next category is.
Well, have we said actually what our thing is?
I thought we did.
Yeah.
No. Like, what's the final verdict?
Until Dawn.
We could have different ones. Do we have to
Yeah.
agree on one?
No, we don't have to agree on. We still have to have our own because we talked about a whole bunch of things.
Oh yeah, you both had Until Dawn, and I had Rainbow Six Siege.
Okay. For the next one, general
Okay,
discussion,
yeah.
and
Okay.
then not say.
As you guys can see, we're
So
well
Until
prepared.
Dawn for Carlos and I, Nick,
I had Rainbow Six.
Rainbow
Siege.
Six Siege. Okay.
You can put that on the back of the box, y'all.
Put it.
Nick Zalis approved. Okay. The next category is aptly named 5 More Minutes in the Oven. So what this category means is a game that was close to being there, but just needed, you wish it had been delayed. And so they could have put the finishing touches on it. I know me and Spencer are going to have some strong opinions on this one. Carlos, you put up a game, or do you want to talk about that game still, or do you just want to join us in the MGS5 talk?
I do at first want to speak about how Arkham Knight, obviously, it's broken on. It's still pretty bad on the PC, I believe. At this point.
I actually heard they fixed it. I heard from one person say they played the fixed version and it's fine.
There's still some issues on the PS4, but that could have done with some possibly at least taking at least like half the Riddler trophies out.
So that's like
Taking content.
So more put it 5 back in the oven and like remove some of the excess cream from the top to let it cook more.
Because to get 100% in that game, you literally have to quit your job. Half the Riddler trophies just aren't even fun to get. And so I'm just like, there should have been at least someone, once they finish the game, someone plays through the entire game and go, this is what's terrible.
Well, here's my beef about it, is that the true ending to Arkham Knight, you have to get 100%.
Yeah.
If you beat the main storyline, it sits there and goes, okay, so there's still stuff to do, so let's get it done. And you're like, oh, that's kind of a weird ending. And then you find out from the internet, it's like, you only can find the true ending, quote unquote, if you actually do 100%. Yeah. And everyone can do all the other stuff, but the Riddler trophies, I've heard, I haven't played Arkham Knight. All I've heard is these Riddler trophies, and all I've heard about is the game is broken. WB at one point is like, we'll give you your money back, even on Steam. Like, just give it, we're sorry, please. I'm being horribly distracted because Nick is trying to take off clothing.
I was adjusting my belt.
I'll go more into depth of the problems with Arkham Knight later in the show, but that's just at least something to me.
Just a cursory example that was a game that could have definitely done some work before being released.
Yeah, it was more not at like a lot of games have the issue where like MGS5. I know you guys are gonna touch on like how they could have added more to it.
Yeah.
But Arkham Knight was someone needed to sit through the game and sift through all the bad.
Your argument is that it wasn't playtested enough.
Yes, or at least there was.
That's actually a different argument where we're going to go. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you.
Yeah.
So the main thing me and Spencer are going to be talking about is Metal Gear Solid 5.
I can pop into this too.
Yeah, it's going to...
Okay.
Oh, I forgot you played it too.
I mean, Carlos is here, but...
I mean, he already talked. Fuck off. So the big thing here... Because, I mean... There weren't that many. There were a couple games that came out this year, but this is like, for me, this was the standout for needing more development time. There's the whole controversy of Konami and Kojima and stuff like that, and we'll get to that. But the basic takeaway I got was that it was Konami basically saying, "Time's up. You have spent too much money on this game. We're shipping it. Go." And
I always joke with myself in terms of it's like. They just, Konami just walks in and Kojima's, still scribbling. He's got all these, things up on the wall, like a madman with, strings.
There's tons of red strings and text.
Yeah, and there's, ink everywhere, and they're like, Kojima, you have to ship this game. It's like, no, we need more ice buckets that when you shoot, they melt, but they don't actually melt because they're all part of the philosopher's legacy. Kojima, stop. It needs to, just ship it out. But really, the more thing was, Konami.
I mean, they can refer to both of them as Konami.
Konami just doesn't want to be in the video game business anymore, and then the fact that also there's a big budget for this game, and it kept on going and going and going. And they almost, I felt like they almost just said, "Stop! You're done. It's shipping. Fuck you. It's
I think
out."
that would have felt like to me.
One of my biggest beefs with it is that, like, because Kojima had such a big idea for the game, so he had to first develop the engine for what it was. But then, like, which makes sense. And so Kojima did a great thing. He gave them like something to build the rest of their games off. Like if Kojima worked at Ubisoft, Ubisoft would have taken that Fox engine, and you would see that with the new Assassin's Creed, the new Rainbow Six, and then Kojima. Goddamn, too many.
Trust me, it's gonna keep going.
Kojima would have stayed there and just gotten his time to make like perfect hits after perfect hits. The only problem was like Konami does not want to be there anymore.
Yeah, they want pachinko machines.
Yeah,
legalize gambling in Japan. Go for it.
So we're kind of dancing around it, but this is going to get into a little bit of a spoiler territory. So if you could make a note and just put in the top.
Oh, right. Now I'm taking timestamps.
Oh yeah, no. So right in the top right corner, it's going to say Metal Gear Solid 5 spoilers. If you don't want to hear these spoilers, you should be able to. It's going to stay on the screen as long as we're talking about it. You should be able to just skip ahead and on the video, just watch until the spoiler tag is gone, and then that'll mean we've either moved on to a different game or we're done spoiling it.
Darth Vader is Luke's father.
Shit.
We're going to be doing that for any game that we get to in-depth talk about, because I do understand people don't want to do it. So just scan the video as you're like scrolling through it and just like see when the spoiler tag pops away. Anyway, now that has been a very fair warning, I think that what aggravated me was that, what did they have, 50 missions?
Yes.
And there was supposed to be a 51st mission, and it was cut. Like a completely new area. It was actually going to end the story.
It was at Ground Zeroes.
No, it wasn't Ground Zeroes.
Oh, no. Ground Zeroes they were supposed to come back into.
That's too.
So actually, this is actually a good point. Let me roll back a little bit.
Roll it back.
Because I finished the game. You actually beat the game before I did.
Yeah.
You beat the main story
I
missions
beat the game before both of them. I ended up platinuming Metal Gear Solid 5, so I 100%ed it. I did everything.
So
and I think both of you at least beat Mission 50, right?
Yeah, I've beaten the game.
Yeah. So not like because there's 2 acts. There's like, or 1.5, you could argue. And
Act 1 is spotless.
Act 1 is very, very good, but it's Act 2 was where it all falls apart. Fuck.
Same difference.
Act 2 was one of the first times in my life that I was legitimately angry at a Metal Gear game.
Angry in terms of like difficulty, or angry in terms of like what the hell is this?
It was more both, kind of, because I was like, 1, I'm replaying these missions, and then 2, I'm replaying these missions on a difficulty that I don't play games that are hard. I know to some people that's weird. I do not personally look for a challenge in a game. I look for I enjoy the gameplay loop.
I don't seek out hard games, but I'm not opposed to them. I know what you're talking about, because I got a text from you when you got to this mission. It's mission. I want to.
It was Cloaked in Silence.
It's like 32 or something, right?
It was the harder difficulty of Cloaked in Silence.
Is it the one where you Oh wait, Cloaked in Silence, the quiet boss fight.
Oh no! Then it's the Quiet Side mission. That one pissed me off too, because there are a lot of emotions about that.
There was another one. There's one. I think it's
the one with the tanks and quiet.
No, there's mission 6, and I forget what it's called, but it's where you have to destroy the satellites with C4. But
that annoyed the shit.
Substance.
But this one is the subsistence. Version 1, where you have no
you have no weapons, you have to
and I remember you texting me, telling me how fucking annoyed you were and how bullshit you were at this mission.
See, another thing what annoys me was at this point in the year, as you all know, I go to school. I only have a couple hours a night.
As we all knew, yeah.
I only have a couple hours a night to play a game, so I'm trying to find something that I can relax, enjoy, easily beat, continue progressing the story, and then there's fucking. I have to stab some dude, sprint over, get caught, redo it. So for 2 hours, I'm making no progress. I'm only getting more and more frustrated, so I'm not thinking clearly and trying to take out the thing.
And that's kind of why people don't like games like Dark Souls, where it's just they just don't find.
If I didn't have a job, I would enjoy it.
Bashing your head against the wall just isn't fun sometimes.
I think Dark Souls is different than this situation,
Yeah,
because you come into that with the understanding of, I'm going to get roughhoused, but when I beat it...
It's the very vague concept of, I'm not going to be beating anything. I'm just trying to understand this one section better so I can beat it. And it's just doing pretty much nothing for 2 hours. That's what people don't like.
When I was younger, I enjoyed tough stealth games only because I could when it was the summertime, I literally had nothing to do for 3 months, so I could sit and master Splinter Cell.
I thought he was going to say something else.
it was Splinter Cell and then masturbate. So
there it is.
So now it's just like, I'm sorry, I have responsibilities that like I enjoy stealth games, but I don't enjoy having to carefully map out every single route.
So,
Gotcha.
But yes, to
Spencer,
put it back in the oven.
yeah.
So the thing I was saying when we were rolling it back is that when I beat it, you tell me, hey, you're close to beating it. I'm like, I'm on the last mission. And I'm like, that basically reveals the whole plot and story of it, where since we're in spoiler territory, that you're not the boss. You're actually the medic that was in the thing. And I'm like, I kind of knew that going like near the end of it, and I was like, it's like I don't think I'm actually the boss. I think I'm some clone or some shit.
I mean,
like,
they hint at it when they say that Eli does not share your DNA. It's like that's very clearly Liquid Snake.
Yes.
Like, I mean, if I don't have his DNA, then something weird's going on.
Yeah, and my thing was, the funny thing is that when I was like, oh, they're gonna do some weird fucking nano machine thing, but then like the thing that actually kind of tipped me off was Huey. When he first sees you, he's like, is that you? Like, and he's like, you, like, Huey and the boss, like, were with each other for, like, forever. And, like, so even with the horn sticking out of his head, because his face really didn't change much, it's like, he's like, Huey was kind of thinking it, and the computer also was like, oh, no, wait, you're not the boss. Like, that tip, I was like, oh, well, screw you, game. Like,
pretty much.
What, another great thing was that it was actually right when they revealed that Kiefer Sutherland was going to be the voice of the boss.
Can I stop you because we're going to come back to this later?
Okay.
I want to keep this within the 5 minutes of the oven part. So you were saying you got to the last mission. You got the big reveal.
Got the big reveal. You then sent me a video of the special content cut out of the game.
If people didn't know about this,
I didn't see that video.
I sent it to you too. You just probably didn't click it. So what it is, it's basically, it just details Mission 51, and which is how the game should have ended. Because if you remember, at some point, Liquid escapes with the kids because they kind of fuck up your base.
And Psycho Mantis.
And Psycho Mantis. And they steal Sahelanthropus, the giant fucking mech that's somehow more advanced than any other Metal Gear, even though it's years before. But and they just never go back to it. It's like that's just a thing that happened, and Sahelanthropus is never mentioned again. The Mission 51 explains that like wraps up that part of the story. For some fucking reason, it was just cut. And you can watch the video. Fuck, I'm gonna have to find that video now, aren't I?
You can probably just search Mission 51.
You guys can just search Metal Gear Solid 5, Mission 51. And that's basically how like I was annoyed that's like the ending of a game was basically cut. It wasn't like a phenomenal ending, but it was kind of like, it was better.
Ooh, another annoyance with we were talking about this actually yesterday when we were playing Battlefront, and how I was saying how prequels do annoy me because there's no real tension. So when they were like getting ready to kill Huey, I was just like, well, Huey can't die.
He needs to go have.
We know how Huey dies before the game begins. And then I did enjoy the twist. My only beef with the twist was that.
Wait, hold on. I really have to stop you again.
Okay.
We are going to talk about Metal Gear
Solid.
No.
But this goes back into why it needed to go back in the
Okay.
Because so you're playing all the missions in the game, right?
Yep.
And then you get to you start the mission for the big reveal. But there's no reason for this character to have that moment where they suddenly realize that they're not Big Boss. There's nothing to lead anyone else into thinking like this is like in a movie when there's like
so you're arguing that there wasn't enough hints.
No, not that there wasn't enough hints. It wasn't really a reason to tell you.
Yeah, it was just I get you. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. There was no connection between like the story just kind of ends. It's like congratulations, boss, you did it. You're now like blah blah blah, and then it's like
then you recall
it tells you like, by the way, this is the mission. It's not
and
like
if there was more game development, it might have had a bigger impact.
Yeah, like people start questioning like you're not the boss. Like they might have like some better
final mission. You run into Big Boss again or something.
Yeah.
It definitely felt like it ended too soon. So that's. I mean, are we all in agreement that if there was any game, you could end the spoilers now?
Yes.
If there was any game that just needed a little bit more time in development and it could have been perfect, it's Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yes.
All three of us.
Arkham Knight is a very close second, because I've never seen a game that just completely just fell on its face in terms of project management of like, we're gonna get it done. Here's a patch. Okay, that didn't fix it. Here's another patch. Okay, that didn't,
Yeah.
guys, we swear we're gonna get it done. So yeah, I would say Metal Gear Solid 5 is definitely across the board the 5 more minutes in the other winner.
Yes. So our next category is our commute. So what this means is this is just any handheld game, or if it's anything where you can't play at home. So like you can't play on your laptop, your PC setup, you can't play any of your consoles.
Something that you can play
So-
on your commute, because you're not going to
Yeah.
bring your full PC.
Well,
if you did that, that's insane.
The reason I bring it up is because I play for
You
my
play on
it's
your
not really a
laptop?
commute, but I play it at work. Just because I can't bring my console with me to a convenience store.
That'd be
So
hilarious.
I've thought about it. So each of us have a different thing. Spencer and Carlos both have like real commutes. I pretty much, for me, this is just what I play at work. But I think it kind of fits in the same. Basically, it's the handheld category. That's what we're dancing around.
Mm-hmm.
But that we're just explaining how we play it. Again, Carlos, do you want to take the lead on what you've been playing the most? Because I keep seeing it on your phone every time I sit next to you, and we have 5 minutes of downtime.
So I've like gone through the year trying to find that perfect commute game, and there's no such thing. But this game that I'm playing at the moment, I've been playing it for like the last 3 months by accident. Is called Can You Get 11, which is like that annoying like can you get to this like 780 number or whatever, where you're kind of just, it's a muscle memory type game where you're trying to manage a small area and trying to get larger numbers touching each other, and then they multiply and get larger.
So it looks like from what I've played, it looks kind of like Bejeweled in a way.
Yes, it's pretty much it's a Bejeweled with numbers. So if you like numbers,
By the way, Bejeweled, not Candy Crush. Bejeweled.
but yeah, it's
Oh no.
What?
That's not the game.
No, God, it's not the game. No, it's not the
Spencer
game.
did not tell us the game he played ahead of time. We have them all listed out, but Spencer wanted to keep this one a secret.
I've been playing. Yeah, I just play that every commute instead of reading the book.
Can you tell us what is driving you to keep playing it now?
It's.
No, there's a specific
Oh yeah,
reason.
my girlfriend won the game. Oh wait.
She got to 11.
Yeah, she got to 11.
So she answered the question, can you get to 11? She said yes.
The answer is yes.
Yeah, I have a higher score than her, which is annoying me. I have my high score is double her normal score,
But you didn't get to 11.
You didn't get to
but I didn't get to 11.
So
So now I have to I have to get to 11. There. Oh my bad.
See, I was trying to subtly tell you to move back away from the mic as you're spiking it.
Let me put it this way. There is no subtlety. Tell Carlos to move the fuck back.
Okay. Yeah.
Carlos, move the fuck back.
You're so loud. You could be on the other side of the room and you'd still be louder
I also
than mine.
want to just give people an understanding of where we are. My apartment has really high ceilings and all brick, with some things in the walls to catch it. But so if this is very echoey, we do apologize.
Fuck it.
But
Um,
there we go.
We're just
fuck
one-
you guys.
So
and
I'm
your
trying to
audio
get to
quality.
11.
So yeah,
My
give it
life
11.
goal is to get to 11.
all right, I'll go up next because Spencer's got the big fucking mystery here.
The big deal.
For me, at first I wanted to say it was Freedom Wars, which was free on PlayStation Plus either this month or last month, and it's a Vita game. And I saw it in r/Vita for a while. I didn't really know what it was about. I just knew people were really enjoying it. Now that I've played it, it's basically like Monster Hunter combined with Attack on Titan somehow, with robots in the future. So none of those things. So basically, it's just one of those grindfest games where like you try and get better equipment and you do a lot of like fighting of monsters and stuff like that. Except the monsters are these giant robots, and you can literally you can either just do damage to them until they fall down, or you can start cutting off their arms, their weapons. You can sever them off, and then the parts fall off, and you can go collect the parts to go in turn make better weapons and stuff like that. And the only reason it's not my commute game is because I just started playing it recently, and I don't think it's fair to the other game I've been playing, which I've been playing for a lot longer. My commute game, which I've been playing so much at work, and I'm close to platinuming the game actually, platinuming it, is Binding of Isaac Rebirth. Same thing for Vita. Been playing the ever-living shit out of it, and I just haven't stopped. I was a huge fan of the regular Binding of Isaac when it came on PS Plus. I was really happy because I was just going to buy it anyway when it came out. I've been playing it a lot on PS4, but I played a ton on Vita. It's one of my favorite games to come out this year.
The only thing I have to say to that is, because I just realized it, are you playing Rebirth or Afterbirth?
Rebirth.
Okay. Oh, because it came out on Vita this year.
Yes. No. Yes.
Maybe.
Because that wouldn't be 2015.
Bum bum bum.
That'd be 2014. That'd be last year.
My response to that is that's what I've been playing on my commute this year. I wasn't. Last year I was playing Danganronpa and I was playing other games. So for the sake of this, I will put a clause that is not a 2015 game. But I think we established it came December last year.
It was like November, October, something like that.
Really close though.
Edward McCullen, I think is his last name, always releases it around the same time.
Let me put it a different way. That's just what I've been playing this year. So if you can't count that, if for whatever arbitrary rules we've come up with, then I will delegate to Freedom Wars, which just come out this year.
Yeah. Freedom Wars is actually, I don't have a Vita, but I've been ever since like the PlayStation TVs have been
buy it. It's like $20.
$20 for a PlayStation TV, and it's one of the games that's actually fully compatible with
Is it? I might have to switch,
controller.
I might have to switch to that because that game would be amazing with a controller.
It's the only one of the few games for PlayStation TV that actually you plug in the chip or you download it.
Perfect.
And it will actually recognize the full controller even with the touch.
I own a PS TV.
I've
Yeah,
yet to
you're
set
one of
up.
a few people.
I've tried to justify it between Persona 4 Golden and that.
Danganronpa.
And Danganronpa, but I don't know if
Such-
Danganronpa is compatible with controller.
Okay, it's fine.
But either way, I'm fighting with that. So this is going to get a little deep and a little dark. I have a problem, guys, that I need to share with you.
Is this leading into the game you've been playing?
This is leading to a game. This is the funny bit, but go along with me. I have a problem.
Thank the Lord it was a funny bit.
I'm an alcoholic.
I
was just like, oh shit, right
So
now.
I have a problem where I used to have a lot of pets growing up, and I can't have pets in this apartment, and it's not killing me. I'm on my own now, and before I used to have dogs and cats and things like that, and it was great. But here
Hold on.
I cannot.
You said things like that. Do you have anything other than dogs and cats?
I've had fish, and I've kept a.
Because I've had chinchillas, and I feel like that counts as things like that.
Yeah.
But I think you're just trying to make conversation. You should have just ended at dogs and cats.
Dogs, cats, and fish.
Okay.
Generic white kid pets.
All right, continue. Just wanted to get that clarification.
Anyways, so I've been going on this stint of debating: do I get a cat and just try to hide it from my landlord? Because my landlords don't come here. Like, I could totally have a cat in here. But then I found this game
Oh my god.
called Neko Asumi.
Oh.
It's like the top game on Google Play right now, where what you do is you have a yard and you buy toys and put it in the yard and you put food out and the cats come to your place and you open up all you have to do, you collect the cats and then the cats come in and they're like, I'm playing with this toy. You can take pictures of the cats. And you can, and they sometimes if the cats come back somewhat, they leave you little mementos, and you're like, hey. And this game sucks. It's got no gameplay whatsoever.
Don't know how to
But
react
I
to
go
this.
back to this game every goddamn day, and I just found out there's special cats. Like if you get really good cat food, and then put like a baseball, this cat with a baseball uniform is sitting right in front of the baseball. It's like, what's up, man? I'm baseball cat. Like, take a picture of me. You take a picture. You take a picture and you're like, man.
Are the graphics good?
I mean, it's like very cartoon. I mean, I wish I had my phone on me. I could pull it out.
Where's your phone? Go get your phone.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Get
I gotta go find my phone.
I gotta see the game.
I'm calling your phone to speed this
No.
process.
I know exactly where it is. You don't have to. You have to call it.
All right, fine. Don't talk, Spencer, because the microphone will pick you up and stuff like. Can you fucking believe this crazy person?
I need to see these cats.
He needs to justify it in our eyes.
Are
No, don't come back around and say it yet. Just show it to us from right here.
Hold on. Okay.
Are you paying for this game?
So this is
Please tell me
this
you're
is
not.
this is Neko.
I will
It's
take
completely
it.
free.
Okay, okay. You haven't spent money
So
on
I don't
this.
think there's going to be any cats because I actually haven't fed the yard yet. So no, there's cats.
Oh my
wow.
god.
So
Wow.
you feed the cats, and the cats
Spencer.
come by and they sit
Spencer.
and they sit here.
No.
Wait. They just sit?
Yeah,
don't-
they
don't
do.
shit?
Sometimes they do things, and you can click on the cats, and you can take pictures of the cats.
This is a whole side of
What
Spencer I never
the
wanted
fuck,
to see.
Spencer?
I have a problem, guys.
When
So
you,
you-
s-
I
when
need
you
a
s-
cat.
When you said you had a problem, I thought you found some game that you were just addicted to.
I thought it was like
I
Japanese
am-
hentai shit.
I
was
am
like, oh, it's gonna be
This is
nasty.
so much worse.
No, the best part
I
is
would
though,
rather
you
it
get
was hentai.
stupid shit like this cat that has a plastic bag on top of its head that just wants to end its life because it's in this shitty game.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna have to stop you because I can't handle
Yeah,
this anymore.
that's...
More than anything, I need you to stop talking about this game before you just start playing it for the rest of the podcast.
Guys, my cats need to get fed.
So you play?
I am
You play this game every? How long do you play it for?
So here's the thing about this game. I'm not even kidding you. There really is no gameplay, like I said. You basically load this game up. You put food down. So I'll just I'll restock this food right now. And there's a couple of cats.
How do you get more food?
So they give you gifts. So that basically it's currency. So the more cats that come by and everything like that, you get more currency. And then after that, if you don't go into the menu and buy anything else, you just go, okay, I'm done looking at cats. Bye.
Oh my god!
How did you find this game?
And then you go back a half an hour later and go, man, are there any new cats? And there's new cats. And you look at those cats and those are cool cats. And then you come back and you just put the more food down. Buy some more different toys to see what the cats do with the new toys.
What has the tea done to you? What have your rides on this heat done to you?
I have played so many. I played Fallout Shelter. I have played Sonic CD. I've played Two Dots. I haven't played any Clash of Clans or anything like that. Okay. It just doesn't hold my interest. But man, cats.
All right, so
he's having
just
emotional
for a recap. Carlos, your favorite game was Can You Get to 7?
11.
Same difference.
Well, you can't. You've only gotten to 7.
I've gotten to 10. That was the worst day ever. So I had two nines on the...
I am done talking about mobile games.
Okay, we're done.
This is no more game.
No more mobile games.
Are you going to mark when the next award is so you can have it up on the screen?
Now that we've gone to a dark place with Spencer.
We've gone to a dark place.
It's not that I'm disappointed or even surprised. I'm just why, Spencer?
My favorite commute game is Neko Atsumi.
My favorite commute game is Binding of Isaac, if that is not applicable, Freedom Wars. Okay, moving the fuck on. And what is the name of the game again?
Neko Atsumi.
Neko Atsumi better not be the answer for the next fucking game either. So our next category, I came up with this one just to kind of add to the list. Just a really simple one, best soundtrack. This one shouldn't take too long. Let's start with Spencer this time, since we led off with Carlos last time.
So Neko Atsumi has one track on it. It plays the same song over and over again.
Stop it. So what was your...
I want a cat. Okay, be serious.
You were a lonely fucking man.
I am a man on the edge.
When you live alone, that's...
I am getting you a kitten, because I just don't ever want you to play that game again. For your health.
This actually was hard for me. I recognize that I'm not a soundtrack person. I actually listen to video game soundtracks.
So do I. I'm a huge listener of soundtracks.
I know. I actually just stream it all the time. I actually have a playlist on my Google Play account that is just video game music. But I really couldn't find one this year that was that one. So I just kind of copped out and went with Splatoon. Because Splatoon actually has generated music, and the music's actually pretty good. But it's a very low list of stuff. But it does fit the very chaotic kind of run of being a kid-friendly shooter, quote unquote.
Kid-friendly shooter.
It's E
I
to 10.
I know what you meant, but it's just such a funny term.
Yeah, it's a funny term. Leave it to Nintendo to make
Sponsored
a
by
game.
the NRA.
So that's mine. I'll leave this conversation more to you guys.
All right, for you said Arkham Knight.
Yeah, that's one thing Arkham Knight got extremely well.
Now, elaborate more. You just mean the mood?
Yeah, when you Batman and shit up, it sounds like you Batman and shit up. If they should put that on the back of the cover.
Somehow you talking about how you're not a soundtrack guy was more detailed than what he's describing Arkham Knight.
Okay, so I'm a big horn dude. That sounds weird.
What is going on?
Okay, the man likes brass. Okay.
Yeah. And so there's just something about the game in the way that as soon as you hop in the Batmobile and the horns start flaring, and you feel like every Batman movie ever.
Like the da-da-da-da,
yeah, exactly.
da-da.
You're the vengeance, you're the night, you are... And then it gets really quiet, and especially the big reveal. That was a nice somber moment. The music really did a good job of selling that.
That's good. I wouldn't expect soundtrack from a game like that, actually. Not a good one. I'd expect an adequate one. For me, it is Final Fantasy XIV Heaven's Ward. So Heaven's Ward was the first expansion for Final Fantasy XIV Online. This is kind of cheating because Final Fantasy consistently has some of the best soundtracks in gaming. Just because they have the resources and just some of the best classical music I've ever heard, combined with new age stuff. And I don't know if Nobuo Uematsu, is that how you say his name?
Close enough.
They know who I'm talking about. It's the dude who's made music for every Final Fantasy.
Yes.
He did some parts for the original 14. I don't know if he had a hand in any of the Heaven's Ward music. But Masashi Soken which is the name of this guy. Carlos is just so fucking zoned out right now.
Sorry.
Tom, you're taking away. Keep going.
He's the dude. He's like the main sound guy for this. Really knocked out of the park. I'm gonna talk about it a little bit more later, but it's just when you're like fighting in the field, and you're going to a new area, or even in like the boss fights, the music just perfectly matches everything and would get me so fucking pumped to play that game, and still does. That it's definitely that's the whole reason I came up with the category. just to whack off Final Fantasy 14 a little bit.
Oh yeah, give me the 14.
So just to recap, I know this was the shortest one we've done yet.
I know, right? There we go.
No tangents.
No tangents. No cats.
So where are we at?
So just to recap, for Carlos it was Arkham Knight, for Spencer it was his cop-out of Splatoon, and for me it was Final Fantasy 14 Heaven's Ward. So our next category is Best Replay. So this category is not specific to 2015 in that the games did not have to come out this year.
You just have to play it in the year.
It's a game that you've beaten before, and you played again this year, and it was either a better experience or just as good, and you remember it fondly. You know what? I'll start with this one because let's try and mix it up a little bit. Let's have different people start talking about stuff like that.
There's only 3 of us.
I fear change.
For me, it was kind of tough because right now, my 3 Let's Play series I have going, and I'm counting these, are Kingdom Hearts 1 HD, and then Final Fantasy X HD, and Okami HD. And honestly, it's been fun playing all 3 of those again. Like, it's been a blast. I'm having tons of fun doing commentary over it. Okami, just playing it at all again, is just a really fun time. That is just a genuinely fun game to play from start to finish. And I'm happy that my subscribers continue to watch it so they can keep playing it. So that is my best replay. There have been a couple. Runner-up would be Deus Ex Human Revolution, which I platinumed earlier this year.
Oh, I forgot about that. So let's spend an hour talking about how great Deus Ex is.
Did I just change your... did I just change
Yeah,
your
that's
answer?
that completely... Well, see, the only caveat...
We'll get to it in a second.
Okay.
So for me, I played it once before. I played it 3 times. Once I kind of gave up on it, and the second time I played it, beat it, and I had fun. The replay this time somehow was actually even more fun. And I really, really enjoyed my time with it earlier this year. This was back during the summer. So you seem like you're going to springboard off that?
Okay, so Deus Ex would probably be my replay of the year. The only thing is that I played the Director's Cut edition instead of the regular edition, and the Director's Cut edition is so good.
So the reason you can't count it as a replay is because you're technically counting it as a different game?
Yes.
What makes the director's cut different than the normal cut? Because I've actually never... I know there's a director's cut of it.
Okay.
I know it was on the Wii U, and the Wii U was like, oh, you have the special little touch buttons.
I suffered because I bought it like just after I finished my replay of like regular Deus Ex, and it was on sale for like $5, which was a steal. From what Carlos was describing me, they have director's commentary, a la like Valve games.
Oh, the director's commentary is... I'm legitimately, I get goosebumps thinking of that director's commentary. Because you will be playing the game, right? And so Deus Ex gets better every time you replay it.
I will agree to that, yeah.
And so, the first time I played it through, and I remember I enjoyed it, but I was just like, that was, a very tough game.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it
And then there's no New Game Plus, so there's really no reason to play it again regularly.
Especially since it's a leveled up and, ability-based game, so, as you get, you get experience in the game from quests and battle and stuff like that. Basically for doing everything.
Yeah.
And you get more abilities. And that was easily one of the most fun parts of the game. But what everyone said it was lacking was a New Game Plus. So you could start a new game and basically just walk around as a robot god.
Or try new methods.
Yeah.
Because once you figure out how you're going to shape your character, there's no reason to try anything else.
Yeah.
So playing it on director's commentary, though, especially with the New Game Plus, you can hear new way, since this isn't a spoiler, early on in the game, the first mission, there's a hostage situation with bombs, and there's 3 different ways to solve the hostage situation. But I only thought of one, which is defuse the bomb. But you can shoot the bomb. You can actually. There's just so much in that game. It's literally packed to the brim.
But you're gonna give it an asterisk because
the
reason I will agree with you that it's a different game is because it actually has a full set of trophies
and it changes the boss fights.
Yeah, so it's
you can passively beat the bosses.
It is technically a different game, so I will agree that it's worth mentioning, and it's definitely worth replaying if you've already played the original Deus Ex. But it's technically a different game. So the other game you wanted to bring up, you had 2, right?
Oh,
They're gonna sound lackluster now.
I'm gonna add a third one, which
Jesus
is
Christ, this fucking. Do you believe this guy?
I was going to add one as well, too.
God damn it!
all right. So like I replayed Max Payne 1 again during the February blizzard in New York City. Talk about immersion. Talk about immersion. So yeah, if you're ever in New York City,
For all you don't know, Nick is like sprawled out on the couch. lamenting himself.
Max Payne. Oh. Go on.
Continue.
I think Max Payne is one, like, okay, there's 2 levels in Max Payne 1 that are absolutely terrible, near game-stopping. But without those 2 levels, Max Payne 1 would be a perfect game. It would I would argue to anyone that it's a perfect game. And then there's Wind Waker and the original on GameCube, because I ain't gonna buy a Wii U.
Yeah, who would buy a Wii U? That's crazy.
Yeah, who would dare complete this entire collection of crazy Nintendo systems?
Spencer has a Wii U.
Yeah. Oh, they don't know.
I regret nothing.
That's not true.
I don't regret buying it.
And then there's Mass Effect 3, which I replayed with all the DLC, which I thought helped flesh out the universe.
Something I meant to do, but was kind of burned out this summer, so I didn't really get to it.
So yeah, y'all for it after I gushed about all those other games.
Pull them up.
Yeah.
It's your turn, buddy.
Well, I don't know how I can follow up after that. But, so one game it's gonna bleed into the next category that we're talking about. And I'll just get it out of the way. It'll be a good segue into it. Well, actually, first I'll talk about the thing. Every year I play Super Ghouls and Ghosts, the arcade edition. It's my jam.
I watched you play that drunk.
Yes, I do it every single year at least once. I try to beat it. I've only beaten it a handful of times. And then this year I've gotten to playing the arcade edition, which I played on stream and played drunk out of my mind. And you go watch that.
You were drinking every time you died, which happened a lot.
With 100 proof. Oh, only Carlos knows this.
No,
so
yes.
every single October, either the 30th or 31st, depending on my plans, I have my favorite whiskey is this thing called Knot, and it's 100 proof whiskey. And I was taking
just drink some hand rubbing alcohol
because it actually has flavor to it. So I basically play it on stream. I for the last 3 years I've done this where I just have a drinking stream, and this year I drank this stuff with drink on death. And I just drank it with I'm mixing just a little bit with a cider. So we played for 3 hours, and it is this wonderful video of a fall of man. But that being said, I actually I played the arcade edition before, and I play it now, and kind of the same thing where I fell in love with it because even though it's Ghouls and Ghosts, it's like more of that. It's like this. It's a different kind of version of it, even though technically it's like the same. It's like different. It's basically like the director's cut versus the non-director's cut. But it's what you can put on an arcade board versus what you can put onto a SNES cartridge. But my game for best replay is Shovel Knight. And Shovel Knight, to me, I actually did not play it until the beginning of this year. And every friend that I have was like, "This is up your alley. You need to play it. You need to buy it."
I think I watched an entire playthrough of Shovel Knight. From what I understand, it's very Mega Man-esque. I know you're a Mega Man fan.
Yes, it's very side-scrolling.
Side-scrolling, dying a lot.
Well, you can die a lot, but it has a edge of difficulty.
I don't, because I'm so much better than the rest of you.
Let me tell you about not of a plebeian I am about platforming.
Don't know. I will do 3D platforming. When we get to side scroller, I'm just like, no, I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah, I can't. I cannot do 3D platforming, but I can do side scrolling. So that being said, I beat it. I beat it again, and then Plague of Shadows came out, and then I am now actually doing another playthrough of it on my channel, and I'm trying not to
Which you can watch here. Plug.
Channel. I'm not going to put that up there.
You are absolutely putting it. You have to do. If you're doing the subscribe gig. Thing you're doing that here.
When did we have our competition for Sly Cooper? Was it this summer or the last winter?
It was this summer.
Okay.
Why, you want to do it again soon?
Hey, once you said 3D platform, I was just like, yeah, this competition needs to come back.
So I'll steal your DJing thing for 1 second. So to roll it over into the next category, everything. Well, by the way, so actually you were for replay.
Yeah, let's just all confirm. For me, I'm actually going to change I said Okami, but Okami and Final Fantasy X and Kingdom Hearts were all very fun to play. But I'm going to have to give it to Deus Ex because I had so much more fun platinuming that game than I did the first time I played it. I think I'm excited. As soon as I beat it, I was excited to play it again at a later date, which said a lot.
Mass Effect 3, including all DLC. I felt that actually gives a justifiable ending.
Including the extended cut.
Yeah, exclude everything that you possibly can put in that game.
Mine Shovel Knight, and that will bleed into the next category.
Backlog. So this is a game from 2014 that you just got to this year. So this is kind of like replay, but there's a restriction that had to be from last year.
Yes.
So since it's bleeding in, I think you'll lead us off on this.
I mean, since I talked about it last time, Shovel Knight.
Yeah, so long ago.
So long ago. Clearly Shovel Knight. I won't go into any more of it. It's a great platformer. It's got a great story, great graphic style. I actually am pissed that I didn't kickstart it. I actually played it PAX like 2 or 3 years ago when they were actually like kind of pitching this game. So now I make a point of it every time I go to PAX East to do the entirety or the majority of the indie booth, just so I can play the games that are out there, because almost at least one of them becomes like a Shovel Knight or becomes like that indie darling of the year.
Yeah, we would do that too if we were online the 2 hours that PAX East tickets are available each year.
Oh, you mean the 5 minutes that they're open? And then so this year I got it. I saw the tweet come out. Not even a minute after the tweet came out, I got onto the link. I got into the queue. No 3-day passes. That is it's
bullshit.
It's a podcast for another time. It's a thing for another time.
Yeah.
I could literally go into a 30-minute rant.
We could really go into that. It's the reason I can't go to PAX East anymore. But I will continue from here. So backlog for me, I am going to go with Dragon Age Inquisition because I struggled to find a game from 2014 that I didn't play during 2014. But Dragon Age Inquisition, I did not like Dragon Age 2. I platinum Dragon Age 1 and had an amazing time doing it. It's a super, super great game. Good BioWare style and stuff like that. But so like I was cautious to play Inquisition. Inquisition fixed everything I thought was wrong with 2, and at the same time brought back some things from 1 that I thought were hastily given away. So I really enjoyed my time with it again, and definitely worth playing. So I'm glad I finally got to it. I didn't beat it because I was playing other games and I kind of fell from it, but I will go back to it. I fully plan to.
All right, so for me, I've actually, since I played a lot of the big releases from...
Yeah, you slacked last year.
Well, yeah, because
most of this list is actually this thing on the screen right now. It's mostly you.
Because I didn't have a PS4 until like midsummer, so I had like all the launch titles.
That's true. I can think of, I think 3 of them are from you.
Yeah, so right off the top of my head, I last played Watch Dogs. But Watch Dogs won't make the winner because the whole third act is extremely racist. And then
is it because the whole third act is racist, or is it that Watch Dogs is pretty much an incomplete bugfest?
That's one that should have gone in 5 minutes back in the oven if it was from this year.
Yeah.
Now that I've waited, did you play Watch Dogs?
I did.
Did you play it at launch?
I did not play it at launch, and even not playing it at launch, I still. Like you said, it's one of those things. I wouldn't even say 5. I would say 10 minutes back in the oven.
I still haven't played it. I'm waiting for Ubisoft to break down and just put it on the PlayStation Plus or put it on sale for like $5, and then I'll pick it up.
Overall, I enjoyed the game. Just my only beef with the game was some story elements, but overall, I got it as a gift, so I didn't have any financial stake in the game.
Okay, Watch Dogs is not. I can put a spoiler tag and you can tell me because I'm actually interested.
I have not played it, so I would appreciate if there were no spoilers. I can go la 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 la, but that will go very
now a little more thing. Okay, never mind. We'll talk about it afterwards. But okay, continue. Sorry, I just completely derailed this.
Yeah, but I enjoyed the core gameplay loop that they had going, but I think I also played Infamous Second Son, which I enjoyed a lot.
Started that game, played about 2 or 3 hours, and have not gone back.
That game needed another 5 minutes in the oven.
Spencer, your recommendation to that game was that you basically can platinum in 20 hours.
It is an easy platinum compared to other Infamous games, and to me, it's the first game I platinumed on PS4. I played it, loved it, liked the story. I didn't love the story. Some of the plot points is kind of it's just got Troy Baker doing normal Troy Baker voice in it, but it's also got Troy Baker's face for the most part in it as well too. But the thing I love about it is that it just captures the heart of a city, which is basically Seattle and the likeness of Seattle, and almost using things out of Seattle in there. So it really just makes it all feel homey and nice and everything like that. But I actually haven't gone back to it because I platinumed it, and I have that thing of like once I platinum something, it's pretty much like
dead.
Clap, clap, done.
That is absolutely how I feel with most games. Mostly because when you platinum it, you just you see everything, and it's just like there's no reason to go back usually.
Yeah, Infamous that could have. I didn't enjoy the side quests that much.
They did get a little repetitive.
Yeah.
The cool thing I did like for example, like the graffiti sections.
That
where
was
it's like
really interesting.
You sat there and you're like, all right, I'm turning my thing to the side, and it's cool. Like I'm turning my remote to the side, and it's changing the paint on the light on the controller every single time. It's a different thing every single time, light and dark on the karma system. At the same time, you're sitting there like, all right, here I go to the graffiti, turn my control, just move my hand around like an idiot. Like
the first 2 times it was really cool.
Yeah.
After that, it was like this.
A lot of the stuff just wears welcome out, especially if you're platinum the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like you actually can find the shards. They actually show up on the screen at some point. Like all of them. It's not like an Infamous 1 where you had to like actually go out and there was no.
Carlos has talked about that before. We'll get to that to a different point.
That's
different points.
Different day.
I know, buddy. I know.
He's raging. His fingers.
You've explained
moving.
7 shards he had left, and he couldn't find them. Anyway,
I found them.
Yeah, I know you eventually found them. So anyway, you were also going to talk about Shadow of Mordor.
Oh, Shadow of Mordor. That's
the backlog winner.
Yes, because that game is something that I felt had to be next gen.
Give me your I've never played. Give me your 1-minute elevator pitch of why I should pick it up on the Steam sale if it's on the Steam sale.
There's always the corny story of like, oh, you have your own dynamic stories, but like I legitimately had beef with one of the captains until literally I had to break the game to kill him because he had hit the level cap and he was destroying all the other orcs and he would cause chaos when I was like trying to kill someone else and his gang would follow in and I was like, now I can't fight this dude because he's way too powerful, and he would kill someone else and then continue to be at the top of the level cap. So I couldn't kill this one character because I screwed up way too many times until the last level of the game.
So if you were a car salesman, you pretty much told me the equivalent of, if you want to go out and buy this Accord, I've been selling Hummers out. These Hummers are going to run you off of the road. Don't drive. This is what I just heard.
So what Carlos is describing is I haven't played it, but from what I understand, there's a system in Shadow of Mordor, which is, there's just like, what are they called, war chiefs?
Okay, so every orc is a character in the story, technically. And so there's a ranking of all the enemies. So at the top of the food chain is the war chiefs, and then under them are the captains, and then under them are the regular orcs. So if you're playing the game in anything but the main story missions, which is an annoyance, but so let's say you're running around the free world, and like you got hit a bunch of times, and you're like on your last gaps of health, and like one orc gets lucky and kills you. That orc then becomes a captain. And then next time you run to that orc, he's still a captain, and let's say he kills you again, he goes higher up the captain food chain to the point where he can become a war chief.
And so what it sounds like is, after a series of unfortunate events, this one guy
rose to the top.
Kept happening to kill you to the point where he gained so much power that he was just killing you on his own merits at that point.
And they also gained their own strengths and weaknesses to the point where, like, this guy you could not burn him, you could not scare him, you could not stab him. You had to use arrows to kill him, which is, like, the hardest part of the game to, like, have enough to kill a captain. I just enjoy it.
Like you thought it was fun. Like, you felt like you had a real nemesis.
It was... At one point, I fake killed him because sometimes they'll like give you like a fake execution when you kill a guy, where like you thought you killed him, but turns out he was actually dead. And I legitimately felt like a sense of loss when he died.
Hold on, you thought you killed him, but it turns out he was actually dead?
No, I thought he was dead.
But he wasn't.
And so for like a good 2 or 3 hours, I legitimately felt like I lost a friend. And I was just like,
like you lost your rival.
What is the point of playing this game anymore? He is dead. And then he showed up like 2 hours later, and I was like, oh crap, this thing is back on. Here we go.
So that sounds like a much better pitch.
Yeah, that sounds like that's not an elevator pitch, but I'll take it.
All right, so Carlos, Shadow of Mordor, Spencer, Shovel Knight, Nick, that's me, Dragon Age Inquisition.
I hope that's you.
All right, so this next category, you mark that down.
Man, you're just...
What hour are we on?
I want it to be, we're just barely over now.
I want it to be a thing.
No, I was just like, it's 9:47.
Because you're sticking around, right? Because we want to try it.
Good. We're gonna play some stuff for the people later on.
They don't know about that.
Oh my god, they do now.
Okay. So this was actually a thing. This category is not about a game.
That's the title, though. This is actually a thing.
This was actually a thing. Is the name of this category. What this means is this is like industry stuff. So, this is not about any specific game, really. This is more about as a bigger picture. We have a couple events here. I mean, I know the one I want to talk about. And
Are we all in agreement?
all right, so there a lot of stuff happened this year. We're gonna focus on
Assassin's Creed Syndicate came out.
Fuck off.
That's a thing
We're
that
gonna
happened.
we're gonna focus on. There's a couple different topics we could talk about, and if you're in the comments, feel free to tell us what you thought was like the biggest like this is really,
This
like
happened.
wow, this happened, this is stupid, or something like that, or just any emotions. The one we're going to talk about basically is the whole Kojima Konami thing.
Silent Hill.
For me specifically, I think the Silent Hills thing is ridiculous. I never actually played PT, but I watched so many different people play it that I was really excited for the game. Like I was fully ready to buy Silent Hills when it came out. And I know a lot of people were excited because it's like they just dropped this game on the marketplace.
It was on E3, and they just said, "Oh,
No, not Paris Games Week. It wasn't E3. It was.
But it was something. They just
It was a conference. And it was like, by the way, go play this playable teaser. And it was
That's what PT stands for.
Yes.
Playable trailer, playable teaser. And a lot of people were like trying to figure stuff out, and finally someone beat it or something. And they got the reveal that it was secretly a trailer for the new Silent Hills. People fucking lost their shit. Rightfully. It was a really, really well done trailer. Something that I'm worried is never going to be replicated because of the controversy around it. I would love if other games came out and tried to mimic it. Just because that's seemed like the best way you could possibly raise hype about something. And then, of course, Konami had their whole fucking meltdown, and they canceled it as part of and then I think that's one of the things that triggered Kojima leaving, or part of it?
It was the whole. No one knows.
Yeah.
No one knows the whole backstory, but it was one piece in the puzzle of, hey, something's wrong with Kojima and Konami, and because they just canceled this game out of the fucking blue.
And then they took it off the PSN servers.
Yes,
you
but
can't even download the
which
shit.
is unprecedented. Like usually stuff stays on there forever. I think the only other thing I can think of that happened was 360. I think because of rights reasons, I think it was like Marble Blast Ultra and like Mini Golf were taken down, just like arcade games. But
San Andreas was taken down and then
but that's
re-uploaded.
different. But I mean like permanently taken down.
Okay.
Unless you. But,
It's
but with those, if it was taken down, you could still re-download them. This even if you have it in your download list, you can no
Yes.
longer download it, which has never happened in any of the digital consoles.
this is another conversation for nothing, but it happens, and this is one of those talks of people talking about the preservation of video games, preservation of creativity, digital
in
media,
general.
and things like that. Where like I have PT on this PS4 in front of us. If something ever happens to the hard drive, gone.
No more PT.
I love PT. PT is the epitome of horror.
I think you mean epitome.
Epitome. Epitome.
I know.
Epilogue, whatever. It is, to me, it is like it's the pinnacle. It's the here's the jump out scares. Here is the hey, there's something in the dark. Maybe there is. I don't know, but really, there's something. I don't know, and you scare yourself into it.
I fully agree. I think it really is, and I'm really not the person who throws this kind of word around. I think PT was a masterpiece. I think it was basically a license to print money as soon as Silent Hills came out, and they just threw it away. Like
They
that,
left money on the table. But like
they absolutely did.
when I first played PT at my girlfriend's apartment, I played it like I didn't know any of the scares about PT, so I immediately started playing the game.
And you're just like, oh, cool. What's this?
Yeah, I kept walking.
You must
doing
have
the
quickly figured out, oh, this is a horror game.
It wasn't that. I started figuring out the puzzles, and then like I wasn't scared, so I put the controller down because I had to go do something. And then I did some research on my phone, and I found like a scary screenshot, and then I was just like, that is terrifying. And they put the controller in my hand, and they're like, oh, finish the game, and I'm just like, nah, I'm good for the week. I think I'm good.
So to circle it all back is that we're all having this wonderful experience about it, and they canceled it because basically they had this big giant falling out. And then after, the worst thing about this whole thing, this whole fallout of them canceling Silent Hills, is all the stuff that came after. It's like Del Toro had all these great ideas going for it. And the thing that freaking killed me is that after like 3 or 4 months later, after they're like, by the way, great manga horror horror artist. I forget his name. It's Ichido. Like I love his manga. They're like the most creepiest, scariest like things you can read, and they're the same thing. They're right up Silent Hill's alley in terms of some of it's physically disturbing, but most of it's also just psychologically buried as well too. And I for days was pissed. I mean, actually walking around this apartment, I'd be like cooking macaroni, and all of a sudden I'd be like, fucking Ito was in this game.
PT is the coolest game ever now because you cannot access it.
Yeah, that it kind of
That
creates.
is the most hipsterest sentence you have probably ever uttered.
No, you don't know him as long as I have. It's not even in the top 10.
But the scarcity, but now it's just so annoying.
I do agree. It's like it's not without cause. Like it's not like I think of like The Interview, the movie that came out on Netflix about Kim Jong Un or Kim Jong Il.
Oh, the stupid stuff.
Where it was just like people wanted to see it because it was banned. PT had fully earned its place before it was like taken away. But that leads into a larger conversation of I don't know whose wife Kojima fucked to get Konami so fucking pissed at him and so petty, but it just ruined.
It ruined two games.
It ruined two franchises, and it kind of marked Konami's just descent into fucking madness. They're not going. What confuses me is they're not going away from games completely because I actually just heard 3 new Yu-Gi-Oh games for 3 different platforms were just announced.
I mean, I'm sure that they're kind of burning it out. I'm sure those were in development.
That's
contracts with
true.
whoever.
But they're not doing AAA development.
No, they stopped, and that bothers
And
me.
they still have Pro Evolution Soccer.
We could have an entire podcast just on this.
There are Silent Hill pachinko machines being made. We all
disgusting.
can sleep at night that all those properties, all those things are still being made in pachinko machines.
What's the next one?
So we all agree the biggest that happened was the whole Kojima Konami thing. I'm the only one of us who did not fuck up the names.
Yeah.
I came close, but
Well, we actually bled those 2 wings. Those were actually 2 things of Silent Hills being canceled, and then
they kind of
again
the
whole
damage to MGS5.
Yeah, the whole thing with MGS5, and even like the most recent stuff with Konami, where like Konami accepted an award,
but they didn't let Kojima.
But they didn't let Kojima get it. Not even the Game Awards for the Japanese Game Awards, as well too. And then the thing that I love about this whole controversy, I kind of put in air quotes because it is, but we don't even know the details of it.
Do you mean Konami-traversy?
I hate you so
Get
much.
out of here.
Get out.
Thanks, guys.
5
Nick,
minutes in the penalty box. Is the big thing is like we're trying to figure out when he's going to release, when's he got contract, when's he going to be leave, and they're like, okay, his last day. Someone said, oh, his last day's there. Okay, cool. His contract's up. No, he's on vacation.
Oh yeah,
and you're like, no, he's not.
We know he got fired.
We know he got fired. Like, what's the deal here? And we'll never know because apparently he's openly said that he has signed a non-disclosure agreement about
That doesn't
this.
surprise me even a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's again. If there was something you thought was a bigger deal, we have a couple listed, just like Joystick shutdown, Maxis being shut down by EA, Five Nights at Freddy's 3 and 4 being so close together. It's just like whatever you
Five
thought.
Nights at Freddy's? Is it 4?
3 and 4 were released in a 5-month window.
But anyway, if there was something like that we didn't mention, or if you want to see us talk about, or you want to bring up, just mention it in the comments. We'll be looking at the comments. We'll be responding. I don't know if Carlos will. He fucking hates you guys. But
no,
we'll see.
No, I don't. That's a lie. That's a fucking lie.
Okay, so the next category. We're all in agreement. It's Kojima and Konami. Yeah. The next category is called Got Class, Got Style, and this was for you. This is the best game stylistically. So for what this was one Spencer came up with. So if it sucks, it's his fault. No, I'm just kidding.
Art direction.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like
it's
the
not
best graphics.
It's
I
not
can see every pore in your
exclusively.
face.
It's not exclusively best graphics, but it's like best design. Would best immersion kind of fit into that?
Sure, it can be whatever you want. It's a very open-ended question because it can be whatever you want. So let me give kind of preference.
You can start off. So which one was yours?
So I have like a list in front of me of. I actually put this list in for this, and it's even though I haven't played it. It starts out with The Witcher 3. Then it goes to Batman: The Arkham Knight because as much buggy that game is fucking smooth as silk when it comes to the graphics. Even though sometimes it hitches up, and it knows what it's doing. It's doing Arkham City. It's doing Batman. It's got relatively good character design, but I mean it's already been established as it is. You have Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront. I don't know why I actually have that reversed on the thing. You have The Order 1886, which is like a great kind of
looking, not playing.
Great looking, not playing at all. You're absolutely 100% correct. But it has a great art direction. But then you have a game like Undertale, where it's very simplistic, earthbound graphics, but it knows what it's doing. It knows its direction. And it coheres to it the entire game, and everything that it does is just so unique and crazy. So that being said, making it all full circle, the weird thing is, out of all the designs and everything like that, I really think that the Order 1886 really it says, hey, I'm going for this, like, old Victorian Tesla run, like, not horror, but, like, mythical beast slaying thing. It knows what it's doing. It goes out there. It gets it. And, like, it's like you're the Knights of the Order. Like, you all have this nice looking kind of art, like, not armor, but you're matching the period piece. Everything just matches that 1800s or, like, late 1800s period while blending in all this kind of new modern stuff. And like you said, Carlos, it plays like garbage. Like, it's utter garbage. But everything looks great. Everything looks great. And it's for PS4 exclusively. And it's not like they've had a PC game, like it's on PC. Like, it looks great. Like, you could literally pick that game up, put it on a PC, and it would look exactly the same.
It looks like that crappy movie, great comic series, The League of Extraordinary Men.
Yes.
Gentlemen, like, I actually was tempted only because, but then I was just like, it plays like shit.
Yeah, don't worry. That'll come to PlayStation Plus soon enough. That's definitely a game I can see coming there once nobody is left.
Well, yeah, they got money for a sequel.
Yeah. So that's yours is the Order 1886.
So mine is the Order 1886 with a very close second of being Undertale.
So for Carlos and I think we're in agreement on this one. We both picked up Star Wars Battlefront. We played the beta, so we already saw Hoth and that weird other planets.
I just want to stop for 1 second. I love how, like, I'm speaking for Carlos here.
Listen,
like,
we are,
Carlos and I are one. We speak
we're
as
a
one.
real couple. So.
I can speak on Arkham Knight, but
Yeah. So for I guess you can talk about that. So we were playing Battlefront last night.
yeah, last night.
And there was a point where we were doing Walker Assault in Endor, and the last point where you get to Walker Assault, I remember you get to a point where it's like you get to a part of the forest, like next to the lake, and I'm just like, this is the most beautiful fucking scene I've ever seen in a video, or come close to like the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in a video game. And it's just like the graphics are amazing. You literally if you look out towards the fighting, it literally looks like a scene from Star Wars, and it's like it's completely organic. It's literally players fighting each other.
The leaves shuffle and whatnot when people walk by.
Just everything comes together.
If only there was a single player event.
Yeah. So say what you will about the game and the gameplay available and stuff like that, which again is a different time and a different topic. But I can fully say that they completely knocked the graphics and the visual stuff out of the park.
Yeah, Arkham Knight on the PS4.
Carlos, master of segues.
Baby bird is leaving the nest.
But yeah, Battlefront is literally one of the few games that I was like the first time we played the beta, and I was like, I can't believe this looks that good.
I had a similar reaction.
Like, I remember my roommate walked in while I was playing, and he was like, this legitimately looks like how you imagine Star Wars to look. Say what you want about the gameplay and whatnot, but it felt like I was actually there. Especially when I was playing with like Luke in one of the areas, and I felt like I was cutting people in half. But on terms of Arkham Knight, that game gets visuals down. Like, there's nothing I can say.
Yeah, man, tell me more about it, player.
Like,
tell me about the Batman.
One of my favorite things to do in that game is to just hop in the Batmobile and just literally drive around and then launch yourself out of the Batmobile, so that way you can get like at the highest point in the game and then slowly like glide over the entire city, because it is jaw dropping. And then when the rain hits Batman, like, they got different rain patterns in that game. That's how hard they went.
If I remember, I remember hearing about this about City, so I would imagine it's still true for Arkham Knight. Wasn't there like an entire guy who, like, for the entire development cycle only worked on Batman's cape?
Oh, I don't know about the background, but there probably is.
I wouldn't doubt it, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember City was, I think it's either City or I think it's actually the first one. It's Arkham Asylum, where I appreciate that game so much because it goes into detail of, like, as the game progresses, you notice, like, Batman is getting a 5 o'clock shadow, and he's getting beat the heck up, and it, like, carries into the other games, too.
Yeah, that's actually my favorite thing about this Arkham series is that it all takes place in one night, and then Batman gets the life beat, and then at the end of the game, like, his cape is completely torn apart, and you're just like, how's he even gliding at this point?
This is not aerodynamic. This is wrong.
So would you say Arkham Knight over Batman?
I'll say Battlefront over Arkham Knight.
I love you said Arkham Knight.
I'm glad you got it.
You pointed out Carlos.
I know.
I had to point out you.
You're next, and Carlos is going to point it out.
Yep.
So For Carlos and I, it's Battlefront. For Spencer, it's The Order 1886.
For gameplay, not visuals.
Game.
No, for visuals.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
All right, so our next category is going to be a fun one.
Is it the fizzle?
Yes, it is
Ooh,
Fizzle.
let me
so
tear
This
this game
is where
apart.
we get to pick up poop and throw it.
So biggest Fizzle is like, what is a game you were? Do you have to have been excited for it?
We can make this a tandem thing. I meant it as what game got you so freaking hyped that I will play this game, and then just absolutely did not deliver. And it can be what game was just did not deliver. It was poop. Like you played it and it was like this is garb out.
So we're gonna go to Carlos first because I think you have a very similar game to the one you just talked about.
So it's gonna be a hot take. Open up the window. This shit is gonna be hot. Arkham Knight is the weakest game in the Arkham series.
How many times have we actually like come in and come out of hey, Arkham's okay. Arkham's a piece of shit. You know what? Arkham really good, but you know what? Fuck that game.
Arkham Knight pisses me off. Like I would rather play Arkham Origins again. The game WB Montreal didn't even make, didn't even touch, didn't even play through.
I feel like we need to have a camera.
We are getting anime. Let's do this.
Arkham Knight has so many issues. We have a massive story issue where... can I spoil Arkham City?
Yeah, put up a spoiler tag.
Hold on a second. Let me write it down.
Or Arkham City.
1, 3.
Oh, no. Oh, you don't want me to spoil Arkham Knight?
No, you can do Arkham Knight too. Arkham City.
Spencer, how do you feel about...
You can... what are we spoiling here? We're spoiling...
I'm going all in details.
We're spoiling Batman. There we go.
Yeah, okay.
Can you make these corrections as we're speaking?
Yeah, I'm just going to put spoilers. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Batman's Batman is all across the screen.
All right, get it.
Go.
Preach, man.
Hit me.
I didn't realize how much I loved Arkham Asylum until last fall. So last fall, I'm watching the entire Batman animated series. And I come home...
This is going to get deep. Okay, let's go.
It really
We're
is.
literally spoiling Batman.
I have heard this already.
I went on a wonderful date with my wonderful woman. We just watched Gone Girl, and you know what? She's going to a pep rally for my school's basketball game, and I'm like, I got nothing to do. What's a game I can burn through in one night? And I was just like, you know what? Batman beat Joker in one night. Carlos can too.
Oh my god. Alright.
So I load up on some pizza. I load up on some Coca-Cola, because you know you got to get your game fuel.
Why didn't you just come out and do game fuel?
Carlos, this hot take, please. Continue.
Hey, check this phone when I said that. Like, can I just leave right
so
now?
Arkham Asylum greatly paced. Like, you're hitting every single note in that game. There's nothing that feels fat. Even the Riddler trophies feel like, oh yeah, this is all leading to something that takes... Like, Batman is great enough that he can figure out all these other puzzles while he's figuring out all these other things in one night, and then Riddler gets caught off screen, but you know what? I saved Gotham. And at no point do you ever wonder, like, oh, why can't Batman leave Gotham? Because you're just like... Or leave the island because it's like, this is where the threat is. He's chosen to lock himself in with the criminals. Robin can't help him, Batgirl can't help him because it would take too long and everything would go to crap. Arkham City, though. Arkham City, the first time I play it, I don't notice the flaws. I'm thinking, oh, this is so cool that we get to see all the other villains we ran into. But Joker is still...
I'm afraid to interrupt you because I remember you, for the longest time, wanted me to play Arkham City. Because we both played Arkham Asylum, and you were crazy about it, but I mean, I finished Arkham Asylum, but I was like, it was alright. I mean, it wasn't the greatest game we played, but like, I don't regret finishing it. And so you harped on me to play City, and I tried it for like 2 hours, and I was like, I don't want to play this game.
You're right, Nick.
For the longest time, you harassed me about this.
So the beef with Arkham City is, again, it starts with Batman stuck in with the criminals for one night. And I'm like, ooh, sign me up. So I'm trying to beat this game in one night.
Sign me up for all the 20-on-1 criminal beatdown.
Exactly. So, but the problem is, you have all this extra shit, right? You have all the minor characters, which like is cool but it clashes with my story idea of Batman's literally like Arkham Asylum again. He's beating everyone in a straight line. Like he's never diverting. He's only hunting for Joker. City, he's looking for this stupid cure and whatnot, and he's running into all these other people, and he's doing this other stuff, and he's chasing down Zaz on the phone, and he's doing shit for Mr. Freeze, but he's got to find Mr. Penguin at the same time. It's like, and at one point I'm like, you can't beat this game in one night. This game is physically impossible to beat in one night. And so I was just like, all right. And then I replayed the game. I was like, but there's so many parts in that story where it just does not keep you going in the story, and like you feel because literally at points they're just like, we'll get back to you, Batman. And then Arkham Knight does this even on the worst part. So they give you the Batmobile. Like I literally was so hyped. I was at the United Nations watching Arkham Knight footage instead of actually learning about issues in the world. Yeah, I fucked up. Be mad. But there was a Batman game to be played, and I would not stop. And I always wanted to play with the Batmobile. This sounds so weird.
I always wanted to use the Batmobile in a game.
Yes. And so, like, I'm signed up. But the problem with Arkham Knight was that, literally, that, again, same issues from City. You can't beat it in one night. And then you have so many other shits going on. And then the game would stop, like, 4 times and say, you should do the side missions right now. I would do a side mission and then go back to the main story mission. But at this point, I'm just like, why would Batman stop? And why does the sun never come up?
All video game fallacies asked by almost everybody.
But, like, this isn't even really, like, harping on the story. And then, so, Arkham City, Joker dies. And so you're thinking Arkham Knight, oh, they're going to come up with 2 new villains. Because you got, like, Scarecrow, who's really coming into the forefront. Wrong. Then you got Arkham Knight coming into the forefront. Yeah, but you already know the twist if you've ever read a Batman comic. Mm-hmm. And then you got Joker literally is in every single part of the game because WB Montreal doesn't know how to write a Batman game without Joker. And so my biggest beef was that Joker, I thought this was going to be a game about how Batman's finally given it all up and how, because he doesn't have Joker, he's stopping crime as a whole. But no. They give a fake ending. It was stupid. The Batmobile was a waste of time.
What was the vague ending?
The vague ending is... So if you get the 100% ending.
Yeah. What's the fake one before 100%?
I don't even remember.
It's the fake one. I think it's like you actually defeat the Joker. You like get the cure.
Yeah. You beat everything. And
yeah.
You defeat Scarecrow's.
You defeat Scarecrow's fear syndrome, and then like
the game ends.
The game ends. It's like like all the things kind of tie up. It's like congratulations, Batman, but there's still shit to do out there. Go get it. And you're like, okay. And like some of that things, like you may have done like all the missions, all the other stuff, and the only thing you have to do is get Riddler trophies, and it just like. Why the fuck is Batman going out like doing all these freaking Riddler trophies?
So what was the true ending?
True ending, you get all the Riddler trophies, you beat Deathstroke, which is in the game. Or Slade.
I thought he was in Asylum. Or not Asylum.
Origins. Yeah, he shows up, but you don't...
Sure.
Batman don't kill people. You, what else? You train some guy to be the next Batman, but it turns out he was being controlled to try to become the next Batman, so then he tries to kill you, and then you beat the shit out of him. Batman.
That's Arkham Knight, right?
This is still Arkham Knight.
No, I mean that is the
Arkham Knight. Yes.
No, that is not the Arkham Knight.
Oh yeah.
This is Azrael from Arkham City that completes.
You're right.
Stupid stuff. And then turns out everyone knows Batman reveals that he's Bruce Wayne at the end of the game.
Yep.
To everyone.
Everyone.
Yeah. Because it's on. It gets broadcasted out on television.
One cool part that they do add is that when you go back to get all the 100%, all the bad guys call you Bruce Wayne and say like, "Oh, your mommy's not here for you." But my biggest beef, this man does not quit being Batman. He fakes his death and uses the fear serum so people can't actually see him beat the shit out of them. That's what happens. That's the end of the game.
Stupid.
And I'm happy that WB Montreal's walking away from the entire series.
Okay. So, Carlos's biggest fizzle is Arkham Knight.
That's like 30 minutes of me just...
Yeah, you can end the spoiler tag.
So 123 started the spoiler tag.
That was like a 7-minute rant.
That was a 7-minute rant. That's pretty cool.
God, man.
I mean, fuck, man. Do you want to go, Spencer?
I'll go. I gotta write down how this freaking 7-minute time stamp for this one. So
you really want to get that off your chest, didn't you?
So this feels like weights off me, man.
So I don't have like any really big fizzles. Honestly, like that, I don't have that's a passionate fizzle, Carlos. That is like a holy crap that hits me.
He should have gone last.
Yeah, no, we hit it hard, so we're gonna keep going. So. I had a couple of them. Like Evolve was one of them. Evolve for me was like, hey, this seems pretty cool. It's a cool concept. 4-on-1. But after a while, it's like you only can do so much into this thing. I just want to just point out one thing.
Yeah, I'm playing with Carlos
right now. He's playing with Carlos's wallet. He pulled out his Dunkin' Donut freaking receipt so we can get his Dunkin' Donuts perks card. High five for being part of that thing. I'm like being a parent right now. No, because Carlos also actually plays with it too. So I'm putting his wallet down here. You guys can't podcast for shit.
I mean, it's more of we know we can get away with it because we know they can't see us.
Exactly. God. Anyways, so
4-on-1.
Small tiny things.
Wait,
talk about Evolve.
It's only one monster?
One monster.
No, like mini dudes.
Wait, there was only one at release?
No. So there's a bunch. You can choose from a bunch of monsters. The main game of it is
it's like what 4 players trying to
4 online players versus 1 online monster.
All 5 are controlled by AI Or not? No,
Oh,
all 5 are
controlled by people. And each person has a role. And it's cool. Each person has a role. You have the monster has these different stages.
In theory, was a good game. Even you can even argue in some of the execution was still pretty good.
Yes. Like, as a tiny little thing in its own little bubble, it's like, yeah, this is a great game. But when you look at it, you're like, that's it. It's just 4v1. There's no single-player campaign. There's no weird campaign. Even in the campaign, like, if there was, what are you going to do? So, they pumped the shit out of this thing. They're like...
Oh, yeah, didn't they fragment the audience out like shit with DLC and whatnot?
Oh, yeah, God.
I remember it being famous for having like $120 or $126 of DLC at launch. Something like that.
Yeah.
They did not give a fuck.
No, they didn't. Because
they were hunting whales.
They were saying, this is an online game. Let's... if you want to buy it, cool. Like,
and we're not talking about skins and stuff like that. We're talking about extra monsters, extra like equipment and stuff like that.
I think it was more equipment, character that you could actually buy characters. I don't think there was level up anything like that.
But it's still, those are things that like you shouldn't block access to. I'm of the opinion that stuff like that should be mostly cosmetic. Like,
agreed.
So different monsters and shit like that is not fair.
Or at least at launch.
Yeah. I have a couple other ones on there as well too. Like, that wasn't my biggest thing. I think probably the biggest one for me was the Order 1886. Before I get to that, I just want to point out the H1Z1. Anyone ever hear about this? What?
I want to talk about H1Z1 actually. So I didn't know what it was. And I had a friend who bought it and got really into it. And he was like, "Oh man, you need to play with us." And I was like, "No, it looks like a shitty zombie survival game. And I don't want to play it." And he was like,
2015, the year of the shitty zombies.
And I was just like, I want to wait for one of these to be a finished game and not all of them be early access bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, "Oh no, you should get it. It's great." I'm like, I mean, unless you buy it for me, I'm not playing it. So Steam gifted it to me. I was like, fuck, now I have to play it. I was literally just not excited to play this game. So I play it, and it's exactly what I thought it was. You gather supplies and stuff like that. There's other players, and there's zombies and shit everywhere.
Oh, it's that game.
It's that generic game that there's like 10 copies of.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, you know what, this game, it's rough around the edges, could use a little work, but it might be fun if they polish it a little bit more. Well, why would they polish it more? Because they have your money. They have no incentive. That's why I think a lot of these early access type things don't usually work, because you pay them, they get the money. There's no reason for them to finish the game.
Yeah.
I thought it was a fizzle. I think I had trouble remembering games that came out this year that I played and was just like, no, that failed on every level. And I think H1Z1's the one that comes the closest.
Yeah. For me, it is the Order 1886. The Order 1886, because, like I said from before, man, that game looks great. Holy crap, was the story, was the gameplay just straight up trash for me. And that's not saying like it was like unplayable or anything like that. It was just like very generic wall high shooter, and the story was just predictable from start to finish.
Do you know how I knew that game wasn't going to be that good? Because I have been around consoles launching before, so I know how this usually plays out. That was like the first like announced game that was coming out. Like you have launch games like Knack and Killzone, and then you have like the next round of games, which are like the first ones to like.
I want to stop him saying. He just said Knack is my game of the year. I just completely forgot about Knack until you just brought it up, and then I've played it once. I played 5 minutes of Knack. I put the controller down and I looked at my friend and said, "You bought this?" And he goes, "No, it came with the system." And I said, "Wow."
Yeah, Carlos and I are waiting for it to come to PS Plus eventually.
Not even. I won't even download it.
I thought it did.
No, I'll play it. But anyway, it was. I've seen console launches before, and it was one of those games where it was just like, it was the first game like that was like, wasn't ready in time to be a launch title, but it was like the closest one, and it happens every time. It's like 360 with like fucking Cameo and stuff like that. Hey, it's just like they have they're games that might they might work, but for the most part, if they're hyping them this hard, they're probably not going to turn out very well. And I could sense that from the Order 1886 like a mile away. So as soon as it came out, people were announcing, "Oh, it's like a 6-hour game. It's okay. It's not great. It's not nearly as good as everyone was hyping." I was like, well, no shit. It's a glorified launch game. It might as well have been a launch game. And I never trust those. I think if it comes out within like a year or two of the launch, and there's nothing else really coming out at the same time, it's a launch game. It's clearly something that just wasn't ready in time.
I agree. I think it even got delayed at one point.
Yeah, it did.
You mean, you know what? The philosophy is what I'm trying to.
Yeah, no, I get you, but I'm saying like even like.
It got delayed. I remember the IGN guys, or at least Colin Moriarty, was talking about how the Order was literally such a bad game when he first saw it, and then it was just like, it's still bad. They literally only just got into it.
That's all I ever heard about it. I actually want to bring a funny segue about delays. Colin Moriarty, Kind of Funny Games Now, totally said Uncharted 4 was going to come out in April. They're going to delay it for at least 1 month. And friggin' Neil Druckmann comes out and like, yeah, we're pushing it out a month. And even tweets, his next tweet is, yeah, hashtag Colin was right. I just want to point that out there because you said that. I was dying on the train when I saw that. But
Rip Spencer. He's dead now. He's a ghost on the podcast with you. We forgot to mention that.
Why am I dead?
You were literally dying on the train watching that.
Oh, it's true. Actually, yeah.
It happened.
This is just me.
This is the ghost of Spencer.
I am here.
All right.
I am in spirit.
So are we done with Fizzles?
So
anything else about the Order?
No, 1886. I mean, I wish it was better than it was. I actually love that League of Extraordinary Gentlemen bull.
You said, Carlos, they made enough money to get a sequel?
Yeah.
They actually made the money to make the sequel?
They probably did. It was the only game. Like, what
That's
was
true.
on PlayStation 4 at the time?
It was the only one available. So, maybe they'll fix it for the sequel. Who knows?
Or they'll just reboot
So,
it.
1886 for me.
H1Z1 for me, mostly because there weren't that many games that came out this year.
I would even lump that into, like, in terms of fizzle, I would just lump the entire zombie survival horror into, like, one big giant ball.
The fact that they have not finished one and made... Because the premise is still amazing, but nobody has been able to do it right or finish one. It's bullshit. It's these people who Kickstarter and bullshit like that need to fucking finish their games. And not release, like, barely any patches. Early access, and like, oh, here's a slight patch. We fixed the one thing that one person complained about. And yours was Arkham Knight.
Yes.
Was Carlos Arkham Knight? I'm not sure.
Did we actually even do Carlos?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
My lifetime fizzle is Assassin's Creed.
That's true.
A lifetime fizzle.
That's a different podcast. So, we have 2 categories left.
I think these are going to be good.
The next one is out of fucking nowhere.
Out of nowhere!
So what out of nowhere is it's basically a game that came out this year that you had very low expectations for. You played it and you were just like, God damn, this is some great stuff. So I'm gonna save Spencer for last if it's the game that he warned me about.
Okay.
Is it?
I don't know.
Is it Undertale?
No.
Okay,
It's
never
not.
mind then. I'll start. I'm gonna say Star Wars Battlefront because honestly, I picked up my mentality was I'll play the beta because it's free. I had no intention of buying it before the beta. Like I knew it was made by DICE, and just like I'm not a Battlefield player. I've played like 20 minutes of Battlefield 3, and that's it. So I was just like, I'm probably not gonna get it. It's fine. And then I played the beta. I had a ton of fun in the beta, and I was just like, you know what? I might buy this. And then I think PlayStation gave like a 10% coupon off like an entire purchase, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll use it to buy Battlefront. And I've been playing it, and I think the complaints that people have against it, that there's not enough content, I'm not playing it like a traditional person who plays shooters. Like, to me, it's like a side game. Like, I'm not just playing Battlefront all day. To me, it's like I'll play a couple hours here and there, maybe like a couple times a week, and I am more than getting my fill. I think there's more than enough content for what I'm doing. And not to mention, it's amazing visually. I think the gameplay is pretty good. Obviously, there's some balancing issues where there's only so many guns, and some of them are a lot better, and they're, unlockable. So, like, you have to get to a certain rank to use them. But, I mean, you can get around that, because if you're a good player with average guns, you can still beat a bad player with good guns. So, I'm having a ton of fun with it. It's the first shooter I've played in a couple years. I think since Modern Warfare 2, really. And I'm having a lot of fun. And I was not expecting this, and I'm very glad that it's better than it is. And I'm hoping that with DLC, whether it's paid or not, that they manage to, add some more fun to, like, get people in and make them stop complaining. Who wants to go next?
I have nothing to rebuttal or anything about that.
Carlos, you play Battlefront. How do you feel about it?
I haven't played that much of Battlefront for me.
Yeah, you just bought it, like 2 days ago?
Yeah.
I bought it like a couple weeks ago, so.
I literally, at this point, we're still developing an opinion.
Okay, so don't say anything because you're not done yet.
So, here's my thing about Battlefront is, like, even playing through the beta for the most part, is that I don't think it's out of nowhere because, like, it's DICE and it's a shooter.
But to me, that didn't mean anything. Like, when I heard DICE and shooter, I was just like,
That's a
don't-
game I'm not going to play.
Yeah, I don't really care about Battlefield.
Yeah.
I don't think they're that good. So
To me, like when DICE like make shooters, like they make Battlefield, they make Bad Company 2.
don't get me wrong. I mean, I understood they had the ability. It's just
Yeah.
they've never really grabbed me before. So me personally, I wasn't.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not saying like Nick, you're wrong. Like you can't, like you
Spencer
can't think
is
this.
stifling my opinions.
It's just like for me, like just in my opinion, like Battlefield is a wonderful game, but like it's not the out of nowhere for me just because I just grew up on it. I can absolutely 100% seeing if you're like just haven't seen like the DICE shooters, like the quality level that they usually have. Usually is the key word. That they're totally capable of this, and I agree with you in terms of the out of nowhere where they pretty much took my expectations of taking a Battlefront game and pushed it, but they didn't like take it to that beyond level that we're used to. Like even like if you're gonna have the Battlefront name,
There's still
the
definitely
whole thing.
there's definitely some things they can add. I'm still a little. I was saying this last night when I was playing with Carlos that I very much miss Galactic Conquest. That was to me the most fun part about Battlefront 1 and 2.
absolutely.
And I'm sure they'll add it in the inevitable Battlefront 2 or maybe even a DLC or an update. But it's definitely not gone forever. They have to bring it back from the fan outcry. But I definitely it fit the category.
Yes, I agree.
Carlos, you haven't spoken in a while. What is your out of nowhere?
So, like,
This okay. To give you the visual, Carlos like had this look like I don't even know anymore. Like it
so if it has to be this year, right?
has to be this year because this is 2015
Okay.
year in review.
So, like, I would say Until Dawn, only because that's, like, the one game that I literally had no expectations of. But if we're going to say a game that I played in 2015,
Okay.
I know this is late, but this is going to be an anecdote. My final award will go to Until Dawn because I thought it was really great.
Okay.
Splinter Cell Blacklist is the...
Okay, good. Thanks for sharing. We're not talking about it though.
Okay.
No, fuck it. You can say whatever you want.
It will lead... We'll talk about it in my Game of the Year. But it finally...
You can't talk about a game in 2014. Your game of the year.
No. My Game of the Year is impacted because of how much I...
All right.
Okay.
Spencer, what is yours?
So I have like a list of a bunch of stuff that was listed out there. Mine is he actually was going to sit there and say Undertale, but Undertale actually it wasn't out of well, theoretically yes, it was out of fucking nowhere. But the biggest thing for me was Rocket League, only because Rocket League was actually a sequel, and not a lot of people know this. It's actually based off a PS3 game that was like Super Battle Car, like I can't even remember the name of it. So when they meaning Psyonix actually came out and they were making a sequel to it, like a spiritual successor to it, called Rocket League, and we're pretty much gonna make the same game over and over again. Or not over and over, we're gonna make the same game over again. I was like, well, that's not gonna sell. Like, by the way, it's free on PlayStation Plus. A brand new game. So obviously everyone's gonna buy it. And I played the PS3 version, it's pretty good. And like this, it's just they just upgraded the graphics, made changes to the physics engine, and we're like, yep, here's Rocket League. It's the same game that we made from before. And out of fucking nowhere, it is like the esports phenomenon. Like people play it professionally. Like I am like hopelessly addicted to it. At PAX, they had a tournament, and they had a separate like the PAX 2 channel on Twitch dedicated to people playing Rocket League. Like it's to me, it's the epitome of out of nowhere of how something this like granular of something like hey it's soccer with cars.
Yeah, I would have never thought.
Like you can make a Flash game out of that, but they made it a 3D version of it. Like to me it's almost the equivalent of slime volleyball.
Just to point it out, if you want to watch us play Rocket League, eventually we'll get to that point in the Extra Life uploads where Spencer and I played Rocket League for a bit.
Let's just not kid ourselves. It will never happen.
That would require Spencer to edit the video.
It will never happen.
But
Nick enjoyed every moment.
My opinion on Rocket League was I played it a bit over Spencer's house, and I was just like, I can see the appeal, but it's not for me. And just like, I wasn't really a huge fan. I downloaded my own PS4, and I was like, no, it's not really into it. It didn't really grab my attention that much. So when we played it for Extra Life, on like, must have been up for like 30 straight hours at that point. And all of a sudden I'm just getting goal left and right. And like each goal I score, I'm just kind of like, yeah, but it's an okay game. And Spencer's just like, what the fuck is happening
He
right
scored
now?
a hat trick on our first game.
I would think I was the only scorer.
Yeah, it was 3-0. He scored all of the goals in the first game
and
that
just,
we played.
and just ended it with like, eh.
Yeah. I do want to give honorable mentions to Undertale and Ori and the Blind Forest. Ori and the Blind Forest, like, it was a visually great game, and it kind of blew me away of how actually challenging the gameplay and how actually like very demanding it was in terms of the gameplay. Not just like this, oh, you're a little critter walking through the woods and we're gonna tell you a story. It's actually like, no, you're gonna do platforming. You're gonna get the shit kicked out of you during this, because some of this stuff in the late game is gonna require some precision stuff for you to do. So it's very nice and it's very challenging. And I didn't expect that out of that game. So I expected, like I said, the exact opposite.
Yeah, I think an honorable mention that we can give it to, and we're gonna count it. I think God of Hell came out last year, but it came out on PS4 this year. So,
That's
by technicality,
You and your technicalities.
Carlos and I,
we adored that game.
we had a ton of fun.
Took for us to finish it.
Yeah, I think
but
we
did it.
played it over the summer, and then we just finished it like 2 weeks ago.
Remember when the FBI knocked on my door while we were playing?
Yeah, while we were playing, Carlos had a visit from the FBI at his house, but that's the story of another time. Yeah, I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to leave you on that cliffhanger. Enjoy it. So, out of fucking nowhere for Spencer is Rocket League. For Carlos is Until Dawn. For me, it is Battlefront. And, yeah.
So, I just want to say one thing before, because we're actually getting to our final category.
What?
I just dawned on me that we have not talked about, because we all only played The Witcher. So that's why we actually haven't added anything. I'm sure if one of us played The Witcher, one of us would be like, Witcher wins all of these.
Yeah.
Like, because that's all I hear.
That's all I hear is Witcher's winning all these.
None of us have.
Nothing against Witcher. We just haven't played it.
Everything against Witcher.
Carlos doesn't enjoy those kind of games. What was your reason for not playing it?
I just haven't played it. I've
Just
actually
haven't
1 and 2. I just have not. I told myself that there's so many other games coming out that if I bought The Witcher 3, I would push every other game out.
My mentality was I didn't want to play it until I played 1 and 2, and then enough people finally said to me, you don't have to play 1 and 2.
Sure.
But it's just like, I have so many other games at this point. It's the same deal.
I
just can't play it. I need to finish my other games so I can uninstall them to make space for Witcher.
So people have told me that there's in the starting area, it's actually on an island, that they started doing all the side quest stuff, and they've spent like 30-something hours on this like one little area of the map, and they're like, by the way, like, this is just one of the smaller portions of the map. Go to the mainland. That's where the real story mission begins. And like, are you bleeping kidding me?
Yeah, that's completely
The
not
word
my
you're looking for
alley.
is fucking.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not Carlos' type of game. He likes to sit down and play casual games because he's a casual fuck.
Yeah,
my thing. So the thing I was actually originally to say, none of us have brought Fallout 4.
Yeah, we haven't.
I haven't played it.
So let's just break into it. This is the game of the year discussion. We're doing it. This is the game
of the year.
So, just because I've played Fallout 4, I've enjoyed Fallout 4. Just for these particular categories, nothing has really fit into it. Obviously, replay and backlog's not going to work. Soundtrack, Fallout 4 has some good battle music. I don't think it's like exceptional. Like, I don't know if it always fits the mood. Obviously, can't play it over the commute. 5 more minutes back. 5 more minutes back in the oven. I would argue that it does not need extra development time.
Whoa!
No, because I'll tell you why. If you're gonna redo Fallout, do it in a completely fucking new engine.
Okay.
Putting it like a couple more months isn't gonna change anything.
Okay.
They did the best with what they had. That's a completely. I know the discussion.
That's not,
I know what you're trying to get into.
Yeah.
And the bottom line, a lot of people were complaining that I almost said Blizzard. That Bethesda is still using this outdated engine, and to an extent, they're right. I don't think it hindered my experience in Fallout 4. Fallout 4 could have been. Are you looking away or are you on?
Okay. Oh,
I thought you were looking.
Couldn't look away.
I thought you were looking away.
I couldn't look at your eyes while you're shaming the great name of Bethesda.
So, I don't think it hindered my experience at all. I think a lot of people are blowing it way out of proportion. That being said, Fallout 4 easily could have been like game of the decade if it had an updated engine just to like fix a bunch of things, problems that have been in Skyrim, in Fallout 3, in New Vegas.
I think it has way more problems than just the actual engine itself. The main story is weak.
But that's always been the case. That was it with Skyrim. That was it with Fallout 3. I did not expect...
Fallout... New Vegas, actually, I think has...
New Vegas is a different company, though.
That
was by Obsidian.
True.
I don't agree with you. I don't think New Vegas was better. But to counter your point, it was by a different company.
Sure.
Fallout 4... completely met my expectations, and I just platinumed it literally an hour before we started this podcast.
So you were just whelmed?
I was whelmed. I'll definitely say this. When I first started playing, I was a lot more engaged with it than I was after I started playing. Like after I got like deep in the game, there's definitely a point where you just get to a certain power level where it's just like you pretty much can't be killed. And
You have become Jesus Christ.
it kind of gets annoying that there's really no challenge left. Even putting the difficulty up doesn't do anything. So I guess that takes points off it. I will clarify this. Fallout 4 is not my game of the year, but Fallout 4 was definitely a really enjoyable experience for me, and I don't regret platinuming it. It doesn't really do anything. There were other games that did things better. Like out of fucking nowhere, Fizzle, got class, got style. That was actually a thing. Backlog, watch someone else play it. 5 more minutes. It doesn't really fit in any of the categories we've picked. But if I could pick like a runner-up, can we do that? We want to do runner-ups?
I feel like no, we're not gonna go back to the list and do runner.
No. I mean like for GOATY, like runner-up.
So what? So you want to do? You want to do your runner-up for your second best game and then your best game?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would give Fallout 4 my runner-up. I
your
think
number
it
one?
was definitely worth the $60 I paid for it. I don't regret buying it, and I did not have nearly as many problems as people were describing. I think it will only get better once PS4 mods are fucking launched, if that's a thing. But for now, I'm done playing it, and I look forward to the DLC that will eventually come out, because Bethesda does do DLC really well. I enjoyed the Skyrim ones, and I enjoyed Fallout 3's, so I fully expect it to be good. It was a good game. I'd give it I don't like doing number scores, but I'd give it like a solid 8 or 9 out of 10. It just didn't do anything particularly well enough to get Game of the Year. It wasn't like a complete enough thing to get Game of the Year. It also didn't do anything specifically well enough to win a category. But it's definitely worth mentioning. I had a lot of fun with it, and I'm not discounting it at all. So that's my rant.
Oh, I'm going.
Yeah, you played Fallout 4.
Oh, we're talking about Fallout 4? Or we're talking about
Do you
Year?
want to still talk about it? Or?
No, that's good. I mean, so with Fallout 4, just to kind of knock it out, to make this the Fallout 4 section of everything, you're right. It does not follow everything. Like, actually, on my list, I almost think I put in the same thing as Bloodborne. Like, Bloodborne, I actually have it on near my game of the year, but it really doesn't fit, like, almost with anything. Like, if anything, maybe got style, got class.
I think it's our categories that we particularly picked. I mean, I'm sure if we fleshed it out more, we could find another one for it. But
yeah, absolutely. But, like, so it goes into that same thing for it as well. But, like, Fallout 4 to me, like, I just kind of noticed it. Like, yeah, we didn't pick it. But then what you were saying is absolutely true, is that for our categories, it's not, like, the first. Like, it's definitely not, like, the standout pick.
it is the Leonardo DiCaprio of 2015.
I know, because Leonardo DiCaprio is actually a really good actor who never wins an Oscar just because I don't know why. I was actually having this conversation with somebody yesterday. Like, I want to go see The Revenant so bad.
Different time and place.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's that. It just doesn't do anything particularly well. Would you still agree it was worth the money?
Absolutely. No,
Yeah.
I agree. It was definitely worth the money. I mean, but don't get me wrong. Bethesda, what a company to make games the way that they make them and make them so inclusive. But goddamn, they need to pull their boots out of the mud and put them in a new puddle.
They really do need to update their engine. I understand that I think people are blowing it out of proportion, but I don't think it hurts the game, but I think it would only help it if they added a new engine. Like, it would only make things like, it could have made it like phenomenal, like game of the century. But what are you gonna do? It still looks better than Fallout 3, which is saying something. And Skyrim. So
It's true. It's true. All right. Ready?
we're gonna do runner-ups first, I guess. Do you even have a runner-up, or do you just have a game of the year?
I have a runner-up.
Okay. If it's Arkham Knight, I'll fucking laugh my ass
No,
off.
if it was, you shouldn't have said that, because if it was Arkham Knight, I would have lost
I
my
was done. I would
shit.
have left.
I would have literally laughed until my gut hurt, because we have gone so up and down. Like I said before, we have gone
I gave it so many props
up and downs
I
on
hate
Arkham Knight. I can't. So, Carlos, what is your
runner-up?
runner-up?
Oddly enough, I'll give it to the game that I'm going to play for the rest of my life. FIFA 16.
You are going to play just FIFA 16 your entire
don't know
I
how he
played
plays
FIFA 12.
He has been playing FIFA 12
The last FIFA I
until he
bought was FIFA
16.
12.
And he has been playing it at least what, 5 times a week?
Yes.
For
See,
hours on end?
the thing is with me, when I buy a FIFA game, and I will play FIFA so much that the actual pros are no longer in the game. I'm only playing with simulated players. I've hit the 14th season right before you're about to retire as a manager, and it's all simulated players. There's no Lionel Messi.
All of the pros are gone at this point.
Yes, I am in the Matrix to the point where
He has gone further than the game intended anyone to go.
So I really should start playing Football Manager, but there's something about FIFA.
I was about to say you should just play Football Manager.
But there's something about FIFA that like I just enjoy to the point I can't even put a finger on. Like FIFA 16 is not that good of a FIFA game in the grand scheme of FIFA games.
Okay, the fact that you just said that, why is it your runner-up?
Because I enjoy FIFA more than I enjoy other games.
So even
a
a bad FIFA game is still above like an okay or good other game.
FIFA is pizza.
All right, fair enough. I got you.
Like you can give me pizza any night. It could be bad pizza, but it's still pizza.
And it's better than the shit Spencer tries to kill me with.
But like,
It's okay.
I'm still hung up on this thing of like, yeah, it's. But to me, like when you think of pizza, like we're talking like gourmet pizza. We're talking Domino's pizza.
I'm talking pizza, man. Like
just
as a whole,
anything.
I'll eat any kind of pizza. You give me pizza, it's going in my mouth.
Sure. I tried to take that in so many different directions and I just blanked out because I'm still trying to get over this thing. So FIFA 16 is your runner up for the second best game that was ever made.
We need to clarify that he hasn't played that many.
Yeah.
That I'm still running this gambit of FIFA 16, a game that is literally every single year. I mean, you've played FIFA 12, so you have a 14-year gap.
But no, I still play the other FIFAs, only like not as extensive.
So a game that's literally picked up, clean the stamp, add some more things to it. It's stamped back down, picked back up, cleaned, put back down. Every single year.
I think as a gamer, Spencer is insulted.
Some unique experiences that are out there. And this is your personal choice. I'm just trying to... I'm not like... This is not me like, Carlos, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Choosing
it's
FIFA
more
16.
It's more like
I'm trying to figure out why...
To me, like, every other game, right? It's on a limited time lapse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm playing most games, I'm playing that, like... I will dedicate a weekend to a game. Or at least for a month, I will dedicate like a game, but all those weekends. So like Arkham Knight, I dedicated like 3 weekends to it. I did all my homework during the weekday, and I played the shit out of Arkham Knight, right? Mm-hmm. But FIFA 16 is my runner-up because I enjoy the little nuances that they've changed in the overall core mechanics, and I'm enjoying finding out I enjoy breaking the game of FIFA. That's really what it is. Like, I enjoy playing the game wrong only to find all the glitches, all the problems with it. That, to me, is the real essence of FIFA instead of like, oh, the passing has gotten better in the game. It's more, oh, I've broken the AI and I now know a place where I can score where the AI cannot react. So, to me, that's for pure fun. I'm not talking about, like, on a critical, like, oh, the art direction of this game was fantastic. On a pure, this is fun. I enjoy spending my time. People play RPGs hardcore. Mm. I just play FIFA.
All right.
Menu all the way. All right, so
I hope your children can't walk when they're born.
If you want to see Carlos really gush about the FIFA Let's Play, I recommend searching on my channel FIFA Let's Play FIFA 12.
This was before I fully broke FIFA 12 to the point where I couldn't lie to myself to continue playing FIFA 12 anymore.
But so moving on, Spencer, your runner-up.
My runner-up for Game of the Year is... I'm really torn between two. Even though we've kind of ripped it asunder a little bit from Metal Gear Solid 5, like I spent the most time and investment in terms of like all the shit that was in this game, in terms of content, in terms of little like the Kojima things. But I can't bring myself to say this is the second best thing that I've gone out and played.
We've kind of talked about it before. So I recently played Metal Gear. I had watched all of the cutscenes for 1, and then I played 2 in HD, 3 in HD, and 4, all on PS3. In like the span of like 2 weeks. I played through 2 and 3 each in a day, and then I platinumed 3 actually.
By the way, this was after like 6 years of logging.
Yeah, this was after many people getting me to play this game. I finally just sat down and just blew through them. And then 4 took me about a week because I played the other 2 on Saturday and Sunday, and I ran out of time. And then, so I was like, I played this, and then I immediately bought 5, because I was playing this after 5 came out. So I bought, or no, it was like right as 5 was coming out, actually. Because I remember buying it at launch, I think. And I played 5, and I beat it. So, like, the other Metal Gears were fresh in my head. Metal Gear Solid 5 is a solid game, But to me, the biggest fallout for it is that it does not feel like a Metal Gear game. And I will stand by that. I mean, it has Metal Gear aspects, definitely, but it feels like too. I would argue that it's gone too far from the series. Whereas the story is like, instead of being like 80% story and 20% gameplay, instead of like tweaking that a little bit, they went full in the other direction. Now it's like 80% gameplay and 20% story.
And that's the... Okay, go ahead.
Which can be taken as a positive or a negative. For me, I took it as a negative. And I just think some of the gameplay the stealth just did not feel as Metal Gear. I felt like it was less rewarding to play stealth no kill, except for like points and for like ranking. Like, for the most part, I don't think it would have. I think it would have been easier just to mow down and go loud, and that there was no punishment for it. And to me, that's kind of, I don't know. It was. We talked about this before, but like gameplay wise, it's very, very good. And you could argue that it's the best gameplay in a Metal Gear game, but it is definitely a very big change from the other ones. 4 is kind of like the missing link between them, you could argue, but I don't know. It's just, I definitely enjoyed the game. I platinumed it. I had a ton of fun with it, but to me, it did not feel like the game of the year because I judge it by its series. And if you judge it on its own merits, like if just like ignoring the other Metal Gear games, maybe it'd get like to a runner-up, but I mean, I have to compare it to the other Metal Gears, so I have to take points away.
Yeah, I'm in the boat. I'm in that.
I think
boat.
we've all come to kind of that conclusion, right?
Yeah,
or around there. Carlos, you've been strangely quiet about Metal Gear Solid 5. You're a huge Metal Gear fan.
Yeah. So.
Oh, actually, well, wait.
Yeah.
So Spencer, keep talking.
So again, I'm in that boat with you. I agree, and like I said, that's all the things that you just said. Is that like one of the things you said that was funny is like we all complain that like some games don't have good gameplay, but Metal Gear is just that one thing where it's like Metal Gear Solid 4 was like 70% cutscenes and talking and codec calls and 30% actual gameplay, and everyone just called it a literal movie, and you could cut up all the cutscenes and literally not play to the gameplay and be fine.
Yeah,
you could get that entire thing, and Metal Gear gets away with that. And when we finally have a Metal Gear game that's like, hey, it's 50-50. If not even, it's not even that. It's like 70 gameplay, like 30% actual cutscenes. Everyone sits there and goes, "Well, humbug to that. I don't want to play these video games." I think all the other things that we talked about, like the whole Kojima Konami falling out, it's not a complete game in the eyes of Metal Gear fans because it just kind of weirdly stops, and most other people as well too. It's got some weird story issues that don't line up and don't make it feel like a Metal Gear game. But so to make it all full frontal, I was struggling between that and Super Mario Maker, and that came the thing that Super Mario Maker. What makes it so good is that it's the sole factor of it's Mario. It's platforming. It's the essential thing that we've all grown up to like doing. We all played Mario games. We all like it. And it takes that entire concept of just pure platforming and makes it fun over and over and over and over again.
Wait, and over?
And over. Conjunction over. Sure. Conjunction over. For all time, essentially. And like, it's amazing to see when you give a million monkeys Super Mario Maker, they make a million levels, and they can make the Shakespeare of levels.
They make Shakespeare and Mario.
Yeah. And then, or they'll make like these utter garbage like levels that
like
you just
5 Minutes at Freddy's is the best.
Yes. And it's just you walking under a block and going to the flag, and there you go, that's done. But then you have these things like where you have to, and some of them are ridiculously hard, but it's amazing to see them executed. Where you have to like do certain things to get to certain areas. Where like it wouldn't be in a normal Mario game, but it's Mario doing it, and you're like, oh, like you could totally make that game in the Super Nintendo. Like that game could totally be viable. It's just that they never took that mechanic because they were trying to make levels that just flew and flowed and made to the actual normal left to right Mario mechanic.
It's basically taking all the rules away from Mario. So it's like you can literally balls to the wall, go as crazy as mechanics as you want.
Well, it's basically putting Mario in a box and giving all the tools and saying, here's this box.
Do what you want.
Do what you want. Because there are some rules. There are some containment.
You have to like, is the level have to be playable?
Yes.
Or, like, finish
they have to make it so you have to beat it.
You have to beat the level in order for it to be published. So you can't make the super hard level and then post it up.
Like it's just a brick wall that you can't get to the flag.
Although there's some people who get around that by if you take like a wrong door or something, you'll end up in a wall like that, and it's just pure bullshit.
Yeah, there are some stupid, really crap levels like that, so they know how to be level.
Game the system, kind of.
Yeah, and there's other thing they call them, people joking, they call them dev blocks. Like, there's like a secret hidden block where you can hit it and it gives you a fire flower, where normally there's no power-ups for the rest of, like, for the entire level. So you're a small Mario, you can't kill the enemies, but now you have fire flower, you just walk through, kill all the enemies, and you're fine, for the most part, unless you don't get hit. But it's the epitome, like, to me, and it's also the great thing about Nintendo, what they do, is that they just take a conventional thing and just make it fun. Like, they take Splatoon, it's a stupid turf war, like, kid shooter, but it's probably but it's like the most fun that they've ever had. It's like, it's not like blowing people up, it's squids. Like, it's squids hitting each other with ink.
So, in a roundabout way, I think you definitely are way more excited about Mario Maker.
Yes.
I don't know if you choose it, but I am choosing Spencer's runner-up as Mario Maker.
I don't know if I convinced you, or...
I am making the executive decision.
All right, we're doing
So, for Game of the Year, let's start off with Carlos to kind of go back to a point. Carlos, what's your Game of the Year? The thing I don't know.
What is the game of this year?
What is your GOATY?
Game of 2015, in Carlos Lopes' humble opinion,
Yeah, humble.
is Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain.
So wait, we were just shitting on Metal Gear
Yeah.
Solid the entire time?
I knew that as I said it. That's why I went back to you.
Metal Gear Solid 5, a copy's a place in my heart. That they're like that's a game that I legitimately, you can complain to me all you want about how you don't like parts.
I also just want to say one thing. First, in my head, I had the soap opera music just started playing. Like, Carlos just came back from the dead from his, like, 80-year coma. And we're, like, talking shit about Carlos. Like, good thing we're going to take Carlos' inheritance money. And Carlos just burst through the door. So, like, not if I can help it. And just zooms in on Carlos' face.
I want to
That's
point
what
out.
it just felt like happened right now.
I want to point out you're one of the people who said bad things about Metal Gear earlier in this podcast.
Yeah. Hey man, I love people in my family. I still talk shit.
You know what? I slap around my hose. I still love my hose.
But yeah, so like, I think what set me up, oddly enough, to love MGS5 the way I loved it.
Which was all night long.
Oh, all night long. So earlier in the year, I had played Splinter Cell Conviction, the worst game ever made, possibly by man. That you give me a podcast for that, and I'll tear that shit asunder.
I'm tempted, but let's move on for now.
I played Splinter Cell Blacklist, which was like, oh, the gameplay here is rock solid. It is fantastic. The story sucks. The story is abysmal. And then I have this weird love of Metal Gear, where I kind of more enjoy discussing Metal Gear rather than actually playing the entire series. Like, if you watch, like, videos that I've seen multiple times on YouTube, most of it is stuff that involves fan theories about Metal Gear. Like, I remember I was so hyped for Metal Gear Solid 5 when they first announced it, and then, like, 2 days later, there's, like, a fan theory that when Kiefer Sutherland got announced as the voice actor for Big Boss, that he's not actually Big Boss.
Yeah,
And
people were saying that immediately.
Some guy created like a 36-minute video, and I watched that shit like 5 times about how it's actually Gray Fox. And I was like, oh god, this is so good. This guy's so right. So like, I just enjoy, oh my bad. I just enjoy Kojima's like thoughts, and like, I love the gameplay of MGS5 because I think it's a perfect stealth game. I think it's legitimate. The only bad part of the stealth aspect is that it rates you at the end of each mission. If there's one thing that I could change about the game, is that it rates you. Only
By the
because...
way, you're saying rate. R-A-T-E, right?
Yeah, like it gives you SARB. Well, that's
No.
It's a grade.
It was. I was just making sure the audience can understand you weren't saying a different word.
Okay. Technically, they're both the same thing.
Okay.
So, I agree with you on the stealth. So, he actually, like, the stealth isn't like...
I thought there was potential for really good stealth, but to me, stealth is not an open world type of game. You don't do stealth in open worlds. It's possible, but to me, that's like, I would much rather prefer the closed spaces, the inside and stuff like that. That's what I'm used to when I play Metal Gear. So the open world stealth, and especially, I felt this a lot harder in 4. But it's just like, I don't know, it felt like it wasn't what the game was pushing me to do anymore.
4 are the weakest in the series.
It's different.
Different
podcast.
Yeah, 4
Different podcast.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid
has a bunch of problems
podcast
with it. But I love
soon.
Metal Gear Solid 5 was I think is a perfect open world game. And I know that's another controversial opinion.
That is a controversial opinion.
Because I generally dislike open world games. for the very premise of, especially in GTA 5, this is one of my biggest annoyances. If that's a store, why the hell can't I go in? Like, you can go in every single military base in MGS 5. There's no point in that game that you could not sneak in.
But to counterpoint, most of it is just wilderness and desert. It's
you're in a war zone.
What are you? No, so what buildings there are, it's not hard to make those available.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, if you think of that one level, of the third chapter of Metal Gear Solid 4, they could not make you go and set every one of those because that would take a massive, massive undertaking. It's accepted. That's just not something that people can do yet. So I would never fault someone for not being able to go inside a store in like a city environment. I feel like it's a false point.
No. See, that breaks my immersion more than anything else.
I think you personally are expecting too much out of games.
No. See, it's the whole point in my mind is if you're giving me an open world, why can't I go everywhere? Why can I only go in certain places? So then, if you're going to do that, just give me a linear experience. Just make it so that way I can only go in certain places.
That is a controversial game.
The funny thing is, I live in the gray area between you two.
No, I'm saying it would be great if that was possible. I just don't believe it's possible.
Well, here's the thing: is like in Metal Gear Solid 5, Carlos is right. Is that you can actually go. There's some buildings that are like they're boarded up and you can't get in.
Yeah,
there.
that's true. There are buildings you can't get into.
There are little tiny buildings in Afghanistan. Like there are
tons of buildings that just have boarded up windows.
But there's a couple of them that
there's enough of them.
There's some of them that are boarded up and everything like that. But like in Africa, like most of them, like you can totally get into. Like there's still like one or two boarded up ones and everything like that. But like what you're saying is that like if all the compounds, like everything in that compound, you can pretty much get into at any point in time. But the environments in like comparing it to like GTA 5, like GTA 5, you can't get in everything because if Rockstar spent the time to build all it out, the assets would be freaking huge. That game is like 60 plus gigs.
It is 60 gigs.
Yeah.
And that's just what it has in it right now. Metal Gear, I think, is like 27, something like that.
It's something around 30.
But so you're in Afghanistan. It's wilderness. It's dead open space. There's like almost nothing.
It feels like an unfair comparison.
Yeah.
I know it feels like an unfair comparison, but here's my issue kind of with the idea like when people complain about Metal Gear's open world, my whole thing is Rockstar knows they can't do every single. So why do they attempt? What's the point in attempting and failing rather than attempting and succeeding?
Because the opposite is just you running down between a line of buildings. And like that's the whole point. Like open world games exist because it's still fun to go in buildings you can go into. It's still fun to explore the world you can. If it was just like a one street and you could go inside every building, that would be boring as shit.
Well, it depends on what you put inside of each building.
We're also getting in the area of opinion between you between the two of you.
I mean, that's the point.
Yes, I know. But like you're getting
we're steering.
We're getting into
move on.
So like so I enjoy like interacting with the guards and how they change the entire game. Where like if you start getting a lot of headshots, they'll put helmets on, so that way you have to like.
Is that why they did? I just assumed.
Yes.
I just assumed it was.
Yep.
I assumed it was just like gameplay progression.
If you shot them in the gut,
they'll put
body armor on. They'll get flashlights if you attack at night. They'll get night vision if you attack more at night.
I mean, but by the end of the game, they had all this stuff anyway. Like regardless of how you play, eventually some missions
some missions they'll just be armored freaks.
I like the idea of that, but to be honest, I didn't even notice that because I thought that was just natural progression of the enemies.
Oh no, like early in the game because I was just taking a laser, sniping them in the head. Is that they all of a sudden like I just noticed that almost every person aside from like road guards had helmets on.
And then when I started shooting them in the gut, they started putting on body armor. And then I started CQCing, and they started bringing it in.
But then, like when you start getting more body, well, I'm just gonna hit him in the body now. Like some of them don't have helmets anymore because like they're like, oh well, we're not getting headshot anymore. But there's missions that you can do for your
I always
that
did
would
those.
take away helmet, that would take away body armor. So there was a balance between the two.
I also enjoyed the whole recruitment system. I thought that was really fun.
I thought it was slow. I thought it started off a little bit too much with like very low ranking.
Did y'all play Peace
guys.
Walker?
I did.
No.
And I didn't like it in Peace Walker, and I thought
Peace Walker
a little
didn't
better.
finish.
Peace Walker was pretty much, it had the same mechanic, but not in depth as Metal Gear Solid 5 did. But Metal Gear Solid did it better, but it's just to me it's the weakest point, and
it felt.
So actually, let's talk about. Did we already do spoilers for Metal Gear Solid 5?
Yeah.
Can we bring it back?
Yeah, write it down.
I gotta write this.
No, you're right. Let's just not do the spoiler that way.
I will say
no. I have to because I have to say it because it's gonna lead into this thing. That's why we should have made this an all spoiler cast.
Well, I mean, we can just say ahead of the time. ahead of time. Just like make a
Alright,
message.
So with the system in the middle of the game where you have the disease that is the co-talking disease, and it's like, hey, you have to stop your gameplay to figure out, because like these guys are important to you progressing in the game. You have to figure out what the heck's going on. By the way, figure it out right away, because all people, I was trying to find the common thing, and the language of whatever it was, Kikongo was the common thing. I'm like, you all fuckers are going in the brain.
So here's what happened. I figured it out right away. I asked Carlos, was it something that had to do with language? Because I didn't want him to spoil it, but I wanted to know if I was on the right track.
Mm-hmm.
He said yes. Because at this point, he was ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I started quarantine. Like, I figured out exactly that was it. And I started quarantining them, but it was just like, I didn't want to go through all of my soldiers.
Yeah.
Trying to figure it out, because I had like 500 soldiers at that point. And I was just like, he just said, like, hey, if you just progress through the game enough, it doesn't become a point. But then, like, I was like, fine, let's like rush through these next missions.
Yes.
I lost like 300 people. And I was just like, yeah.
Really?
Because I was already like capped for people, and I kept getting more. So I guess it's like a numbers game. Like, because I had so many, I was losing that many. And it cut my forces down a lot. And I was literally just doing mission after mission, just trying to finish it.
Mm.
And I like the idea of something like that, but the execution to me felt like they were a little too, it did, I feel the same way, Spencer, where I had to stop what I was doing and it had to stop my progress.
It felt like a chore.
Yeah.
I was like,
perfect.
I like it, the interactivity of it.
Like I said, I like the idea of it.
I like the artistic vision of it.
Yeah,
I know this is annoying, but
it pulls everything into it, but at the same time, it's like, all right, instead of me going out and like doing the stealth missions that I'm normally doing for a Metal Gear game, you're making me find the missing link. So, like, it was cool. I'll be perfectly honest, I'm like, I agree with you. Where it's like, yeah, it's cool, but at the same time, it's like, this does not feel necessary.
Let me put it out. I was in one of my classes recently. I had to write plays for my creative drama writing class, and there was an assignment to write a 5-page play using only 1-syllable words. And in theory, I'm like, that's a great idea. It's gonna like test people. It's gonna make them have to like really like think hard before they write things, and it'll produce like great work. In practice, it was a giant fucking pain in the ass.
Of course.
And I hated fucking doing it. I felt the same way with the Metal Gear Solid thing, where it's like, I like the idea of it. I think it was a good plan, but the execution to me felt like just garbage.
give me some lube and I'd rope one out to it.
So continue.
I just
All right, and spoilers.
Yeah. No more. I'm just.
I just love
you
I enjoyed the story as well.
despite thinking that some things were left off.
Yes. See, my whole issue.
I think your boner from MGS5 is, or
My
MGS
whole-
in general is too big.
Probably. My whole issue with the whole Big Boss saga shouldn't exist. Point blank. I hate prequels. Prequels are bad.
Again, different time. Well, we can talk about that one different.
But like MGS5 is one of the few games to actually get over my bias against prequels.
I mean, to me, I feel like it's because it doesn't really matter. For the most part, it really didn't affect the rest of the series, like, at all.
Well, yeah, but it never could. What are they gonna do?
I don't know.
Yeah, most stuff is like when they're making sequels is retcon. Like when they went from Solid 1 to Solid 2, it's like
every step they make more retcons, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's Carlos' Game of the Year, Metal Gear Solid 5. Spencer, you go, because you seem like you were having a tough choice with this one.
No, actually, I knew. At first I did, and then I kind of sat down. I was like, yeah, no, there's one game this year that was... One game this year blew me away on pretty much every single possible facet that I could possibly think of. When I was thinking of like, okay, what game did this well? What game did this... Like when you're putting all those green checks on every single box.
This is the longest drum roll I've ever been a part of.
All these green check boxes.
I'm sorry.
There was one game, and that game was Undertale.
You told me ahead of time that you were going to be gushing about Undertale.
Yes.
And that I should play it.
Yes.
And I looked at it, and I saw a preview of it, and I saw the graphics, and I was like, this is not for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I appreciate it, but it's just, to me, it looked like a 5-year-old's drawings come to life. And
What console is it on?
it's for Steam.
PC.
PC.
So this game, I'll give you a
It's
ramp
$10.
up on it.
It's
It's $10 right now. It's actually, if you're listening to
Is
it
it on
right
Mac?
now, on the 23rd, which actually you can't. This is impossible for them.
Nope.
Carlos right now is $8 on Steam right now for the winter sale. For all the rest of you who didn't grab it, sorry.
Grab it
maybe
Grab it after Spencer talks about
Yeah,
it.
maybe it's going to go
Wait
back
for the
on
summer
sale.
sale.
Well, it could be if we get this up before the 4th, it could come back to the Encore sale. But so here's the thing: this game is made in Game Maker, which is a very simple, it's a very simple engine. When you look at other games made in Game Maker compared to this game, you're like, holy shit, how did you do that? This game is also everything besides sans a couple of sprite designs. I think some music, but I think actually most of it's made by one guy. One guy made this entire game. He wrote it. The story in this is probably one of the more original stories I've seen. The plot of it's actually very interesting. All the dialogue is genuinely funny, where it should be, and genuinely endearing and terrifying where it should be. I've actually never bellowed a game more in the last 4 years than I have at this game.
By bellowed, you mean?
Laugh. like Waldorf and Stanler sitting up in the top of the Muppet Theater.
We do our impression right now?
What, with people when they're frostbitten teddy bears? So
Marley and Marley.
okay, we're gonna get sued. We're gonna get a copyright strike if we go any farther.
Because we're so good.
We're so good at imitating it. I hope you get a copyright strike. That's Disney Muppets Henson. That song. But yeah, so one guy wrote it. One guy did the dialogue. He did almost all the sprite work for it. He did all of the game engine work for it. The game engine is pretty much a mix between Earthbound and the combat system between that and Dragon Warrior? What's the big thing over in Japan?
Dragon Quest.
Dragon Quest, thank you. Holy crap, I couldn't think of it.
Huge fan.
Yeah, so it takes that, like the early Dragon Quest games, in terms and puts it in that, like, that engine where it's just the monster, and then you have the fight, blah, 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 and all those things. Think of like that. But it just introduces this new concept into, like mostly every game you've ever seen is kill.
Yeah.
Kill, kill, kill. Kill, kill, kill.
I'm mass murderer when it comes to video games.
Every person is. This game has a passive function where you don't actually, like, you can fight them, absolutely, and it has, like, a very simple fight mechanic to do it. But the other one is, like, it's just an interact. When you interact with the people, it's like you have these different characters, and each one is unique. It's not the same thing of, like, pat enemy. Enemy liked pat. And then you go to the next person, pat enemy. Oh, enemy didn't like that. Each enemy has, like, a different set of commands, and you have to kind of learn it all at the same time. Between every single interaction you do, there's a freaking bullet hell game that comes in, right? So it takes, like, all of these things from, like, all across, like, every game you've ever thought of, ever played, ever done, and puts in a unique blend, character design out the ass, nice art style in terms of having this Earthbound looking thing. Dialogue is amazing. Story is amazing. Has the old school multiple endings. I'm not going to get into the spoilers of it. Soundtrack is amazing for like a 16-bit, 32-bit thing. So, like, all these things, like, when I was trying, like, oh man, what do I want to do? Man, I played The Witcher 3, it would have been great. Metal Gear Solid is, like, a great game. Like, it's got some flaws. But the more I talked about Undertale, like, you can hear it in my voice. I was like, check, 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 check. Like, it's Undertale. Like, to me, it just fits, like, every category of, like, holy crap, this was an amazing game that did amazing things with the thing that it had. And just, it's one of the few games in the last years where I beat it. The game's like, this is not the true ending. And I usually go, fuck you. And, like only, like, a week later, a month later.
For this point, you were like, there's more.
I was like, oh shit, what is this ending? So I went back and, like, they're like, oh, you gotta go do this. I did it. And then people are telling me, like, hey, do you know that there's different endings that if you actually kill everybody? And I'm like, what? I can kill everybody in this game? There is a genocide in this thing? So I went and did that, and I was like, yeah, completely different. Whole different scale of, like, different story, different dialogue. It's not like the same thing. Like when you play New Game Plus, it's the same thing.
Well, like a slight modification.
There's still
you shouldn't have killed those guys anyway.
Yeah, it's like there's still that same kind of dialogue over the thing, but, like, it's mostly like you're a goddamn monster, and the whole environment's, like, completely different. Like, I will say one thing, like, it's semi spoilers, but I'm not going to say where it is. If you are doing a genocide run, there is a town that if you're like doing a normal or passive run, as it's called, like you just don't kill anything, like the whole town is bustling. But if you were doing a genocide, nobody. Everyone locks their doors. Everything, like you can't get into anything. The stores are gone. Like you can actually steal shit from the stores because nobody's manning the stores.
That's really cool.
So it's very unique in terms of all the dialogue, all the stuff that it does. So, like, there are games that are vastly superior in terms of, like, technology of this, but Undertale is just, like, it puts its foot to the door, it knows exactly what it is, what it wants to do, what it wants to accomplish, and fuck does it do it well.
I'm going to have to play this game at some point, maybe. Probably
Interesting.
never. So, Spencer's Game of the Year, Undertale. Carlos' Game of the Year, Metal Gear Solid 5. My turn to gush.
Arkham Knight?
It's Arkham Knight.
It's Arkham Knight. Fuck, I love this game, but hate it so much.
I'm going to qualify this. I believe that an expansion for a game counts as a new game.
Oh, so Final Fantasy 14.
Thanks for the thunder.
Fuck that. Fuck all that.
I believe an expansion counts. So, like, if someone had picked Warlords of Draenor, or whatever the fuck it's called, if someone had picked Taken King for Destiny, it would have counted because it's an expansion. It raises the price back up to the full price. And Heaven's Ward for Final Fantasy XIV 3.0 had more than enough content than some full games I've played. The reason this is my Game of the Year is because I have never had an experience like this before. I've never been an MMO player. Like, I for the longest time, I hated MMOs. I picked up Final Fantasy XIV on sale for like $13, and I was just like, all right, whatever. Tried it, instantly got hooked. If you've been part of my channel, you know I talk about it occasionally.
What's the monthly installment for that?
It's a what?
What's the monthly pay for that?
It's I buy 3 months for $44 every 3 months.
It's $44 for 3 months.
So it's like $15 a month.
Yeah, but I mean, justification of a game. Anyway,
so when I first started playing, I was like, well, I was pretty much instantly hooked. The main story, getting up until like the level cap was originally 50. Until you hit like 45, the story's kind of meh, just generic MMO. And then it kicks into gear and the real Final Fantasy stuff starts kicking in. And then each patch update, there was 2.1, 2.2, 3, 4, 5, and then 5.5. All were really good. 5.5 left off on a massive cliffhanger. And there was about 6 or 7 months before Heaven's Ward was released. Not even that long. Maybe, I want to say 3 months. And it was just like, they left on a huge cliffhanger. So like, I'm going into the story again, like, it's the equivalent of leaving on a sequel. Like, the game is basically a sequel. And the unique thing here was I've never played an MMO at what is basically the launch. So when I played Heaven's Ward, nobody knew how to do anything yet. Everything was new, and it was up to the players to figure everything out. And that was the most amazing experience of my life. In terms of video games.
Being born, my first kiss, all that stuff out the window.
Let me dial that back. Best experience I've had in a video game. Because it was 3 days, and for 3 days, I was going through all of this. There's only story quests. That's all I was doing. And it took me that long just to do that. And at the same time, occasionally, like, you do, the main quest is the real draw to it. Like, you want to do the main quest. And occasionally there's level locks. Like, you have to be level 55 to continue. I'm level 54. So I have to go around and do some of the side quests. And I'm like, at the same time, I'm seeing, it starts off with me seeing, like, thousands of other players where I am. But when it gets to the point where I'm playing longer than other people are, suddenly there's less and less players where I am. And it's suddenly just like a select 100 who are, like, ahead of the game. And who are, like, the ones who are clearing the content as fast as they can. And for a while I was there. I remember there's, like, a new hub town they introduce. And when I first got there, it was deserted. There was like 10 other people there. And if you go there in the game now, it's like always hundreds of people in there at any given time. And it's something I'll never forget because it's like I was one of the first to complete it. And going through, finishing the story and like doing all that stuff, running through dungeons when people are just like, so I'm a tank. So basically I lead, like I go first, I attract all the enemies and the other guys damage them down. And then there's a healer. So I had to run in being like, I have no idea what the fuck I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm going to try and protect these 3 and hope we make it through. I don't know how this boss works, and occasionally bosses would just fuck the shit out of us just because the mechanics, we had no idea what it was doing, like just and stuff like that. And it was the most fun I've had failing at something because we're failing together and we're just like, let's try this.
I was about to go,
let's try doing something else, or let's try it this way. And I was actually the first in my free company, which is a guild of like 200 people, and these are all pretty hardcore players, to beat the game, like to beat Heaven's Ward. I was the first one to complete, the first one to get to level 60, which is the new level cap, and it was some of the most fun I've had in quite some time. At the end, right before I was supposed to beat the last boss, my grandmother died, and I had to stop playing for like a day. And at that same exact time as my grandmother died, and that just came out, the English translation of Digimon Redigitized came out. It's just like so many different emotions at once, and it's just like I was so conflicted and stuff like that. And it's just like obviously I should be playing Redigitized nonstop. It's a huge part of my channel, but even then I put it aside. I recorded one part and then I went back. I finished Heaven's Ward, and it was a really good finish to the story, or like kind of leading into the new content that's going to be releasing for the next year. And I was just like, this was such a good like moment to like kind of bring me up and kind of like balance me back a little bit. And for that, I am very grateful. And not just that, I just think it was such a fun experience, gameplay wise, story wise, like I said, soundtrack wise, everything, where it is easily my game of the year. And who knows, when it comes out next year, 4.0, whatever the new update is, probably sometime in like later in the year, like the summer or October, that will probably get my game of the year too if they maintain this level. So I had the most fun with that.
I wish you were 40 and you said like that was the best thing in my life with like 2 kids.
So
what about me, Daddy? Not even close.
I know Spencer and Carlos have glazed over for the last like couple minutes.
When you talk about that game, I don't think I could be more bored.
Well, it's interesting for you. It's like there's nothing that would attract you to it. You don't like MMOs. You don't like Final Fantasy.
Asterisk on the Final Fantasy part.
You don't like Final Fantasy.
I haven't tried Final Fantasy.
So you don't like it.
I know I didn't give Final Fantasy X a fair shot, but I literally... That
Anyway.
shit just looks long.
And Spencer just kind of glazes over too.
So I like Final Fantasy. I actually like a lot of the old school Final Fantasies. I played, was it 13, the one that was under
13 is
Garbo?
garbage.
You have to play 20 hours to get into actually the normal content of the game. What?
It's a whole other story.
It's a long story short of Final Fantasy 13.
It is the
It's
low
like
points.
it's not very fun until you play about 20 hours into the game, and then all of a sudden the game starts to get fun.
And then it's fun for like an hour, and then it
Yeah.
goes back to not being fun.
Yes. So the MMOs are something for me.
I
Yeah.
did not like any MMOs.
And
before
even
this
then, my body is like, you picked. I mean, this is all our personal opinion, and it's the same thing that with Carlos. Like, you're picking a DLC. Like, it's not like the actual full game.
The
It's
only
a
reason
part of a full
The
game.
only reason I will fight that is because there are just as many quests as that launch with the game. Like, there's the exact same amount of content as the beginning of the game launched with, so they added just as much. If it was a new game, it would have been a sequel. If it wasn't an online game, it would have just been a
It
sequel.
would have been a 2. Okay.
So that's why I'm fighting. Having played the story, I can say...
Well, don't fight it here. It's what you're...
No, I
No,
just-
we'll fight.
That's why I'm
Perfect.
because I need to justify it. Having played the game, if it was a single player experience, it would have just been a sequel. That's how much content there was. There was
Gotcha.
more content in that than some of the other games I've played in just those first 3 days, and it's MMO, so it's ongoing.
Okay. Let me end it. Let's end this on this note. Did Heavenly Sword...
Heaven's Ward,
I like Heavenly Sword better.
as then we're going Heaven's Ward.
Heaven's Ward. Was that the one that added Fat Chocobos?
That was before, but this one made it.
Lame. Not
This
zero,
one-
0 out of 10.
This
Don't
one
like.
made it so the fat chocobo could fly by sticking a piece of cake in front of it, and you dangle the cake up and it starts flying towards it.
10 out of 11.
All right. So this was a very, very long podcast.
Yeah.
And I knew this going in. I just cannot believe it looking at that timestamp.
Yep.
What time are we at?
We're at 2 hours and 2.5 hours of recording.
Pretty much.
All right, so here's what you really need to know. Don't buy Arkham Knight. There's,
Yeah.
there's no...
Don't-
Okay, wait.
Arkham Knight is the best
like-
game and the worst game in the entire... Yeah,
Let's,
so let's go
make
back.
this official. I don't want to relist our winners.
Yeah.
Because then people just skip to the end.
Sure.
So if there's one takeaway you could have from this year, what would it be? In terms of games. Which is something I feel like I shouldn't have to say, but if you'll bring up something fucking ridiculous.
I think Star Wars is it's looking like a bright new franchise. I think if anything, the Ubisoft formula is broken. They need to change it. And then what else? WB Montreal needs to move on, and Konami's dying.
Oh, he's dead.
No,
To me, honestly.
Konami is a corpse, and they're gaining more flies by
They
the
got
day.
Pachinko.
They have Pachinko.
Spencer.
a lot of the stuff that I learned is that indie game is on the rise and it's rising on forever, and I think it's something that we should be supporting a lot because that's where a lot of the creativity is coming from.
More than anything, give these talented developers the resources to make even better games.
Agreed. There are still people who will make, very creamy crap stuff that's like it's good, but it's really not good. But at the same time,
Gone
it's also very, very concerning that we could have a whole podcast on Gone Home.
Really good.
On
Just a
one
tidbit.
episode.
No.
Okay.
Another episode.
That's gonna be
But
right after this.
also, we're finding an age that the AAA development game is dying. Like we're not. No, a lot of people are taking risks on it. They'd rather pull the single A or possibly even like that mid-tier double A, just over double A quality game, and just push that in and make the money. Because low in, high outs are pretty much the thing with games right now.
Pretty much.
Oh,
And,
can I add one more thing?
What?
Open world is overdone.
Shut up.
Everything is open
Shut
world.
Up. Shut up.
No, I agree.
It's an arguable point, but it's not. It's one that we can't discuss in depth now. So it's kind of like
we could.
It's kind of like you're cheating by mentioning it.
I'm just
No,
saying
we can't. We have to record something else.
With that being said, there's also one thing I noticed is on our list there only was a select amount of games that we talked about.
So I
there's
want
a lot of creme.
I want
on the top.
I would like
Talk to
to
me at the end.
hear from the comments. I want to hear what people had. What was their moments? Like even if you don't have to talk about every category, what were the biggest? What was your game of the year? What was the game that you replayed this year that you had a lot of fun with? What was the best soundtrack? What was the best one you watched? Was it from me? Me? Maybe even Spencer.
I only played a couple of things. If you like something I like, then man.
Why am I wrong about Arkham Knight? You can write a whole.
Feel free to fight us on
It's
stuff.
so good.
Yeah, feel free to fight us and stuff. I just do want to. I want to reiterate. If you're gonna say something, back it up. Don't just say Carlos was wrong. We know Carlos is wrong. Explain
Spencer
why.
was right.
So just if you're gonna make if you want to have discussions about this, we'll do that. But you really got to elaborate in the comments. Don't just make very low effort comments because then we can't really build on them. But I think this is fun, and I would like to do this again next year. Hopefully, we all have enough free time to play the games this year.
Yeah, by the time next year rolls around, I'll finally play all the games of 2015.
There
Great.
we go. That makes
So
sense.
we'll bring you back in time to talk on this podcast.
Going back in
All right.
time.
Also, let's just throwing it out. Just throwing it out there. If you guys like this, maybe let us know. Maybe we can try and make more work.
Follow me on Twitter, LowC20.
No.
You're blowing it. No, what is this? Is this your first rodeo?
So,
God.
Next year is our first porn live stream if we hit 100 million followers.
100 million followers.
nah, subscribers.
100
not-
million followers.
Subscribers, not followers. Don't follow on Twitter for that. All right, so
Also do it.
Actually, give us all the Russian followers.
I have been Nick,
I've been Carlos.
I hopefully have been Spencer.
and thank you for listening and give us a lot of feedback and stuff.
Don't buy Arkham Knight. It's not worth
It's
it.
so good!
And see you next time. Goodbye, guys.